tee saying, Jeff, I hit it plenty far. It's embarrassing. Nobody will play with me anymore. I drive the green. They don't say that either. Hell, I'm hitting it over the green into the pond back there.
Those Weekend Golf Guys, the podcast, part of the Believe Network. Just search BLEAV on YouTube or wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
2-2, and it's lined to left for a base hit. Bryfogel's going to be waved around third. Here comes the throw from Hartman. It's headed home. He slides. He's safe, and the Wildcats have won it. And the pitch to White, swinging away, bounces it up to the base hit, and Arizona has won it. Another walk-off win for the Wildcats.
When you've got a baseball team that can walk off like Arizona, which they did 7 times this year, win a Pac-12 conference regular season championship, which they did this year, we kind of made fun or made fact of the, I should say, light of the fact that the Wildcats didn't seem to be winning a whole lot of awards during the regular season for the job they were doing in the Pac-12 conference, winning 11 straight games in conference play. Well, the awards were handed out today, and the Arizona Wildcats are right there at the top of the list. The first congratulations goes out to their head coach, Chip Hale, selected as the 2024 Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Chip Hale becoming the first person in Pac-12 baseball history and just the second person in conference history, regardless of sport or gender. How about this? To win Player of the Year and Coach of the Year. So you go all the way back to 1987. Chip Hale was the Pac-10 Baseball Player of the Year in 1987. And now in 2024, he is the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. First time that's ever happened in Pac-12 baseball, and just the second time that's ever happened in conference history. Current Oregon State gymnastics head coach Tanya Chaplin also did it on the gymnastics side. How about that for one Chip Hale?
Yeah, I mean, that's even rare for pros, right? The only person I can think of is...
To win MVP and to win a Coach of the Year?
The old adage is great players don't often make great coaches, but the guy I think of that comes to mind first and foremost is Larry Bird. And he had a very short stint as head coach of the Indiana Pacers, but he was the Coach of the Year in the NBA and multiple MVPs as well. So that's the only guy I can think of. Obviously, there's probably quite a few baseball managers over the years because maybe MLB DK is one where you'll see some former great, all-time great players slip into that managerial role. But, yeah, unbelievable award and well-deserved. I think they just started off a little slow this year, DK. I mean, some of those awards, they were all going to Cal
Just
midseason. Seemed like it.
Walter William Hale, a.k.a. Chip, Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Also, in addition to Hale's award today, Clark Candiotti, Brendan Summerhill, Cam Walty, Mason White, Jackson Kent, and Garen Caulfield all picked up Pac-12 All-Conference honors. 6 All-Conference selection ties a program record and is the most for Arizona baseball since the 2012 National Championship team that also tallied 6. Arizona also picked up a pair of honorable mention selections in Emilio Corona, who is hurt right now, and you'll hear from Chip Hale coming up here today, but we'll let you know now what he said. It does not appear Emilio Corona is going to play this week at the Pac-12 tournament after getting hit on the hand in the game on Thursday night. Casey Hintz also picked up a Pac-12 All-Conference honorable mention selection. So congratulations to Clark Candiotti, Cam Walty, Jackson Kent, 3 Friday night starters, as Chip Hale has labeled them all year. They are all conference. Mason White, who has led the league in home runs and RBIs for the majority of it, he is all conference. His infield mate, Garen Caulfield, who hit close to 350 for most of the season, is also on it. And Brendan Summerhill, who had the walk-off double to give the Pac-12 championship to the Arizona Wildcats Saturday night, is also on this list. So congratulations to all of those Arizona baseball folks for being named all Pac-12, and in particular the head coach, the skip, Chip Hale.
Well deserved.
Who is now not only a Pac-12 Coach of the Year, but a former Pac-12 Player of the Year, the first to ever do that.
I do have the list of Major League Baseball managers to achieve that feat. Would you like it?
So this would be
the last to
MVP
do it. MVP and Manager of the Year later.
Let me see if I can guess. I think I might be able to guess 1 or 2 of these.
Okay, get after it. There's 5 total.
5 total. Was Christy Matheson one of them?
I do not see Christy Matheson. No.
Okay. Was Casey Stengel one of them?
I do not see Casey Stengel as one of them.
All right, that's 2 strikes.
Number 1, the first to do so was Frank Robinson.
That's okay.
In 1961.
All right.
After that, Don Baylor was MVP as well, obviously, and then Manager of the Year with the Rockies. Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
Yeah,
Wow.
Joe Torre. And then most recently, it was Don Mattingly, who got Manager of the Year with the Marlins in 2020.
So that's 4. So I have one. I'll guess the last one here.
Okay.
So you gave me 4, right? There's one more?
I believe so. Yeah, let's see. Frank Robinson, Don Baylor, mentioned him, and Joe Torre, and then Don Mattingly. Yeah, so one more.
I know it's not Terry Francona because he never won MVP as a player. Dave Roberts never won MVP as a player. This is hard. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Trying to think of other great managers that won players that won Manager of the Year. Oh, gosh. Not AJ Hinch.
It's tough, man. It's for me, it's tough because in all sports, try to think of the people who were at the top.
Let's hold that one. Let's hold that one and see if anybody else out there can get it. Do you know who that 5th name is? If you do, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You'll hear again from Chip Hale coming up today. We had a chance to talk to Chip today as his team heads off to the Pac-12 tournament. They will play tomorrow night against Washington, a team that took 2 out of 3 from them. The Pac-12 tournament is underway. 1 game already today is final. There'll be 3 games today. 10, 2:30, and 7 o'clock are the times on pool play. The 10 a.m. game was the Stanford Cardinal and the Arizona State Sun Devils. And Stanford beats the ASU Sun Devils 8-7. Stanford had lost 10 games in a row coming into this tournament. But they get the win. Malcolm Moore and Jimmy Natty each had 3 RBIs, 8 runs in the 4th inning. Stanford was up at one point 8-1 in this game. And Arizona State started to rally. And I don't know if you paid much attention over the weekend, but U of A was not the only team that walked off on Saturday. ASU walked off as well. They had a couple of big come-from-behind wins. They were down against, I believe it was Texas Tech on Friday night, I was listening to a little bit of that game on my drive to Los Angeles. Once I hit the Phoenix area, they rallied to win that game, and they came back and won again on Saturday in dramatic walk-off fashion. Arizona State, in fact, entered the tournament having won 6 games in a row and 15 of their last 18. Stanford had come in having lost 10 in a row, 11 of 12, and they were 8-26 in their last 38 games. But Stanford, at 21-32, gets the win over Arizona State. So that is pretty good. Now, the 3 pool winners, again, will advance to the Friday single elimination semifinals along with one of the wild card teams out of the 3 pools. So you can lose a game and maybe still get there, but you'd rather not lose a game, for sure. The Cardinals, they're going to have to win this tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. They've been to the last 3 NCAA tournaments, but they're down this year, so they're going to have to win this event to make it 4 years in a row, will the Stanford Cardinals. So it does not appear at this point that we'll get another matchup between Arizona and Arizona State. We've talked about that in terms of how that relates to the Territorial Cup Series, although the Territorial Cup Series is still decided. I mean, Arizona's going to win regardless. It's just what the final score of the Territorial Cup Series could be if the two did meet again in the Pac-12 tournament. And it appears at this moment that that's probably not going to happen, but still possible. Still possible. Don't forget, we will have both games, Arizona and Arizona baseball at the Pac-12 tournament. Their pool play games, Washington tomorrow, California on Thursday. Both of those games are set to start at 7 o'clock. Brian Jeffries will have coverage beginning at 6:50. We're probably going to have some type of extended coverage tomorrow and Thursday leading into those games. We are normally done at 6. We'll probably extend some coverage till 6:50 leading into Brian tomorrow and Thursday. So keep in tuned for that. We'll let you know what we've got going on. So also we had a chance to catch up today with the U of A men's golf team. They are headed out onto the road for the NCAA championships. That is going to be on, I believe it begins on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Carlsbad, California. So we'll hear from the fellows on all of that they've got going on. Stroke play. They're going to take 6 guys over there. 5 will play, so they'll have an alternate. The alternate is going to be the freshman, Tony Xiang. So he'll be the alternate. We'll hear from some of the guys that will be playing, including Tiger Christensen and Zach Polo, as well as Sam Summerhauser and Filip Jakubich will also be playing in the main 5 coming up this weekend in Carlsbad, California. Hopefully they won't run in to any Kardashians while they are over there. We are joined by the third member of our crew. Why are you laughing about that, Cricket?
I might have just read something on the internet
about the Kardashians?
Yeah, you always can read something on the internet about the Carr-Jenner clan, I guess.
The Carr-Jenner clan. I like that. The Carr-Jenner clan.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what today is the anniversary of?
What?
32 years ago today, The Real World debuted on MTV.
Okay.
Where was that? San Francisco?
No, the first one was in New
2,
York.
right?
Yeah, I think, San Francisco was 3.
3.
I think New York was 1, LA was 2, and then San Francisco was 3.
So what you're saying is Western civilization has been on a steady decline for 24 consecutive years? Is that what
32 years.
32.
Because that was kind of the beginning of reality TV. I mean, that was really like the first major
I think
reality.
I was going to say Cops. Yeah, no, first
Well,
one.
just
when did
because
Cops debut?
I
In the
think
80s?
when Real
I think
World
so.
came in is when that whole like producer heavy version of it, like let's get a
Right.
bunch of people who might not like each other on the surface together and put cameras around and
Yeah.
film it. That's like that style. I think Cops is more of the documentary where it's
Right.
like this is going on anyway, and there just so happens to be there happens to be cameras around. That type of thing. Yeah.
True.
Did you guys watch The Real World?
I didn't
into
personally
that?
sit and watch it, but it was definitely like a big part of pop culture at the time because it was fresh and new. So I had friends. I watched it with friends at the time, but I couldn't tell you I watched every episode of those first few seasons. Like I
Okay.
said, the Puck guys, the guys from the San Francisco, I had a roommate when I lived in Emeryville
Right, you
who was
mentioned
friends
that.
with one of them.
Yeah.
And so like I met them once or a couple of times when we were up there. But the LA and New York cruise, I just remember controversy following, right? It was kind of like child actors. It was like as soon as they got in the real world, a couple of years later, some kind of story came out about them doing something probably they shouldn't.
How about you? Were you into it?
No, I watched Cops, though.
You watched Cops?
Yeah, I watched a lot of that. I watched a lot of that reality.
Bad boys.
Yep.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, Cops is a good show. I'm more into more of a. I was talking about this to one of my cousins over the weekend. I'm more of a First 48. I like the I like the detective side of it more than I like just the street cop side of it.
The
But,
chaos.
Yeah, I like the detective and how they actually get to the bottom of the crimes and how they I call it unfolding the people in the interview room,
Yes.
getting them to talk.
That's a great
I
show.
love that part of it all.
Good
So,
show.
Yeah, so 32 years ago, Real World debut. I was hooked on it. I probably watched the first 10 seasons. I can't remember.
Wow.
Like I've told you, I tried out for The Bachelor. I tried out for The Big Brother. I think I don't remember if I tried out for The Real World. I think I'd sent something in like after watching the first season because I think I was still in California at the time. But I knew I probably wouldn't be able to do it because I was kind of starting to work. I had just gotten out of school and I was like, I'm not gonna like walk away from my career just to do a television show. But if I get on it, then maybe I'll make that decision if I have to make that decision. But yeah, it was interesting stuff back there. 32 years ago today, The Real World debuted. If you have any real world memories you want to share with us, we can talk about that today. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Some of those folks are still heavily involved in the media. I know the one young lady from the third episode, Rachel Campos, she's still very heavily involved on Fox News. And I want to say, The Miz, who was in Chicago, he's from Cleveland. He's a WWF wrestler, so he's still very out there in front. So there's some folks that are still very heavily involved in the limelight from those real world shows of the early going. All right, Cricket is here now, and she's going to get us home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Craycroft South, the Speedway closed. Craycroft is closed between Speedway and 5th Street. Some pretty heavy backups on northbound Swan approaching Speedway, so maybe try using Rosemont or Wilmot instead. Other collisions, Rancho Sarita Boulevard and Saurita Road. Speedway in Houghton, a hit and run, and also crash on Campbell north of River. 61 the low, 94 and sunny tomorrow. Heads up, triple digits expected next week. 93 now, and I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Hey, guys. What are you...
Gotta take this. Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for... Uh-huh. Right. You don't say. Uh-huh. Now.
Hold it. What's with all the nows?
People want to know the best time for an elastification.
And you're telling them...
Hello? Now.
Well, there's no bad time for elastification, but the best time is now.
Pretty soon, Arizona temps are going to put a strain on your AC.
Now is really the best time.
You're not telling people about all the money they save?
Now.
Or how Alaskan AC will make their AC last longer?
Now.
Or the big 1-year guarantee that their AC will not break down?
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Well, Ron wants to tell you a bunch of stuff. I know. That's kind of what I told him. Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, now.
The best time for elastification is...
now.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com. Now.
Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you pick up a new pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Icon wiper blades have up to a 40% longer life than other premium wiper blades. The professional parts people will even install them for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We were talking a little bit about the real world 32 years ago today, May 21st, 1992. The real world debuted on MTV. I was a huge fan of the show from the get-go. I probably watched the first 10 seasons or so before I finally cycled out. And then there was, Road Rules came along after that, where they basically did the same thing, only they were traveling around in a van or an RV or something of that nature. And then they had the real world road. They would have the real world road rules challenges, which were really among the first competition reality shows out there as well. So the beginning of reality TV in the early 1990s, MTV at the forefront of that. So I'm going to make that our question of the day today. The Real World on MTV, again, debuting 32 years ago today. Did you watch at least one full season of the show? Yes, you were a Real World say that 10 times fast. Real World fan, or no, you could care less about 6 people living in a loft. Head on over to our Twitter page. I'll have this up for you momentarily. You can start voting on it. Now, we were also talking about in that first segment, Chip Hale today became the first person in Pac-12 baseball history to win not only Coach of the Year, but as a player, won Player of the Year in the Pac-12 conference. Back then it was the Pac-10, obviously, when Chip Hale did it in 1987. And we were talking about Major League Baseball and what managers of the year were former MVPs. And we got 4 of them. And lay out the 4 that we got there, J-Dub.
So Frank Robinson, MVP in 61 with the Reds. He was Coach of the Year 89 with the Orioles. Then we had Don Baylor, MVP in 66, Coach of the Year in 95. Then Joe Torre, obviously, with the Cardinals and Yankees. And Don Mattingly, 95, was MVP, and 2020 was the Coach of the Year.
All right, so
Manager
there was one more that we did not name. I was trying to guess it. I struck out. I said,
One more.
I think I said Casey Stengel and Christy Matheson.
Yeah.
So I was going way too far back, clearly.
I think this guy's more well known for his hobble than he is for his MVP.
The one we probably should have gotten.
Right.
Right? Because his Manager of the Year award, was that right here in Arizona?
Correct.
Yeah.
2011.
2011 Manager of the Year. None other than Kirk Gibson.
1988 MVP.
How did we miss that one?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think of Kirk Gibson. I just think of him hobbling around the base pass. I don't think of him as in a managerial role. But yeah, he was one of the 5.
Yeah. Well, congratulations there, Kirk Gibson. Man, that's right. 2011. That was a team that won the National League West. And I don't think they got too far into the postseason that year, but I believe that was the team that lost to the Cubs, if I'm not mistaken, potentially in the postseason. But yeah, he spent a good amount of years, like at least 6, I think, managing the Diamondbacks before they let him go, and he went into the broadcast booth for his Detroit Tigers, the team for which he won that MVP award, I believe. Wait, so was his MVP award with the Tigers or the Dodgers?
Who?
Was it the
Gibson?
Tigers?
Yeah. Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
88. Yeah, that was the year. 88 was the year that he walked off, wasn't it? Yeah, so he was MVP, and he got hurt really late in the season. So he was hobbled in the playoffs.
I thought he might have also won an MVP with the Tigers, too, but because he led that 1984 Tigers team
multiple
to the
years.
World Series. Yeah. So.
Larry Bird's the only one that I know in the NBA. Have to effort NHL. Some other news came out today, DK, of a first ever situation in the NBA. Did you hear about this?
I don't think I did.
Victor Wembanyama made the all-defensive first team, and no rookie has ever made the all-defensive first team in the NBA. The caveat being, obviously, that it used to be position-based, and now it's positionless. And so 4 centers made it on this year's. Obviously, Rudy Gobert was the most valuable defender, the defensive player of the year, should I say, in the NBA. Wembanyama finished second, but chances are Wemby would not have made the first team if they still did positions. But yeah, first ever rookie to make the all-NBA defensive first team.
Nice. Congratulations to Victor Wembanyama on that incredible feat right there. Some other things happened today. We were talking about the Players of the Year and the conference awards for the Arizona baseball team, but also we want to let you know that the Arizona tennis team or actually not the tennis team, but one of the tennis players, Colton Smith, is competing in the NCAA singles championship. So after they have the team championships, now they move on to the singles championships. And Colton won yesterday in the first round, and he won today in the second round. He's ranked number 22 in the country, is Colton Smith, and he defeated number 8, Oliver Tarvet, 6-2, 6-4. This is taking place in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where they had the NCAA team tennis championships last weekend. So everybody kind of stayed over, and now they're doing the singles championships. So that has earned, by making it to the third round, Colton Smith has earned himself an All-American honor. And he is the first All-American, singles or doubles, from the University of Arizona since 2006.
Wow.
So it's been 16 years since the Arizona Wildcats had a tennis All-American. Roger Matalonga was the last to do it in 2006. So congratulations to Colton Smith. He will face the number 16th ranked player, and I know I'll screw this up, Nishesh Bazavareddy of Stanford. That'll be on Wednesday in the round of 16. So a win tomorrow puts Colton Smith into the quarterfinals of the NCAA singles championships. So that is pretty impressive indeed for that young man.
I mean, the way Clancy's got it going over there, DK, I'm sure that it won't be another, 2006, so that's 16 years, 18 years.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that long again until they have any kind of awards, because they really got it rolling.
Shout out to the winners of the NCAA tournament. Let's see, I had it up here and then I lost it. The men's singles winners, well, we'll come back to that. They played the NCAA team championships this past weekend, and obviously the Wildcats were knocked out of that. We didn't talk too much about that last week. It was one of those things that happened while we were gone, and TCU won the men's title. So another team that potentially the Wildcats are going to be sizing up against when they get to the Big 12 next year and competing in that round. So Texas Christian knocked off Texas. Texas was the number 2 seed. TCU beat number 1 seed Ohio State in the semifinals to get to the finals. And then they knocked off the number 2 seed in Texas, beating the Longhorns 4-3. So that's going to be a potential rivalry to look forward to once we get to the Big 12 era on the tennis side. TCU and Arizona in men's tennis. So we'll keep an eye on things with Colton Smith as well as he attempts to advance further on the singles side coming up tomorrow in Stillwater, Oklahoma. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Also, some interesting news today on the Big 12 front, the NCAA front, as the Big 12 Conference became the first to be named party in the House versus the NCAA case to vote to settle the antitrust-related cases, forging potentially a new path in college athletics. Big 12 presidents and chancellors voted virtually Tuesday afternoon to unanimously approve, with the party members, Texas and Oklahoma, abstained from that vote, as you would imagine, because they're no longer in that conversation. I would imagine, and I don't know yet, I would think that, we don't have voting power yet because we're not specifically in that conference as of the moment. So that would have not been anything that Arizona voted
Well,
in.
the article I read on this today said that the Pac-12 would have all 12 members vote as well.
Yes.
So that would lump Arizona still, although, because I know Oregon State and Washington State plan on keeping that alive, and they obviously have. But this affects going back 10 years. This is about getting people who would have gotten NIL and whatnot over the years. So there's a stipend for that as well. So it's definitely it's pushing forward to a new landscape where college athletes can be paid and revenue sharing more or less. But from what I understand is that the Pac-12 would have to vote as well.
And the key parts of this settlement include the NCAA paying for more than $2.7 billion in back damages over a decade.
Yeah.
About $1.6 billion of which will be withheld from the schools. So.
And $20 million a year is what I read as far as moving forward for a stipend for current athletes. That number you said for athletes who had already maybe left campus.
So that's big news. That is big news for college athletics, college athletes moving forward. As J-Dub mentioned, the Pac-12 will vote as a full 12-team league, and that is expected to happen later this week. And they are also expected to pass this motion, much like the Big 12 did today.
And I read also that they're still not sure about Title IX and how that's going to work out with this. They also said that the details will be at least 6 months down the road. So this is more or less just an idea of them having solidarity with it, but they don't really have any details that we can share as to what this framework might even look like down the road. That's a really tricky situation to try to untangle.
All right, again, Chip Hale is the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. We will hear from him next. It is DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. JW Madden is here. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Craycroft closed south of Speedway. Traffic on Craycroft closed between Speedway and 5th Street. Try maybe Rosemont instead. Another collision clearing in Sahuarita at Sahuarita Road and Rancho Sahuarita Boulevard. Overnight low, looking at about 61, 94, sunny tomorrow, and 93 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
We return now to Eugene Snarkle, UberTube video star, and his best friend Doug.
Eugene, what happened to just buying a new set of tires at Jack Furrier's?
Way too easy, Doug.
Yes, Eugene. Jack Furrier's makes buying tires easy. So what's up with all the rubber cement and electrical tape? And why are you putting it all over your tires?
It's basic science, Doug. This Uber hack should give me another 6 months on these old treads and make me locally world famous on UberTubes.
So you'll be risking your life and your reputation.
Yes, Doug. It's all for my UberTube fans.
Well, could you at least wait a week before you try driving up Mount Lemon?
At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we make buying tires easy. Our local warehouse is filled with thousands of great options, all at one low price. If you need tires for your passenger car, truck, SUV, van, 4x4, RV, boat, or UTV, call us or go online to jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really mattered, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
John brings his skewed sense of humor. Jeff brings tips to cut strokes off your next round. Together, it's those weekend golf guys.
More distance. I mean, that is what everybody wants.
Nobody has ever showed up on my lesson tee saying, Jeff, I hit it plenty far. It's embarrassing. Nobody will play with me anymore. I drive the green. They don't say that either. Hell, I'm hitting it over the green into the pond back there.
Those weekend golf guys, the podcast, part of the Believe Network. Just search BLEAV on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Chip Hale and your Arizona Wildcats are Pac-12 regular season champions.
Summerhill drives in two in the bottom of the ninth. Bedlam at High Corbett Field.
Tune in this week as the Batcats look to win the final Pac-12 postseason tournament.
Arizona is champion of the Pac-12.
The number 1 seeded Wildcats will take on the 9th seeded Washington Huskies Wednesday at 7 p.m. and the 6th seeded California Golden Bears Thursday at 7. Only on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-1583. 800-290-1583. Again, that's 800-290-1583. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, why don't you text app to 520-848-1290. I'll send you a code. You can download our app. You can take our app with you wherever you like to go. Our app has all kinds of cool things on it right now, except for the lead story, which we'll get into later. Freddie Freeman hitting a grand slam last night as the Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks. That's never fun. Also, you'll get the latest on the retirement announcement of former Cardinals running back David Johnson. He is retiring from the NFL. He was an All-Pro and Pro Bowler back in 2016, 2015 first or third round pick by the Cardinals, ran for 581 yards and 8 touchdowns in his rookie season, and then had a breakout season in 2016 when he led the NFL with 2,118 yards from scrimmage, both rushing and receiving that year. So David Johnson calling it a career after 8 years in the National Football League. You can read about all of that on our app. Also, you can message us. You can interact with us on our app. You can send us a text message. Just hit the button that says message the station and just type in something like, man, I love Chip Hale. I'm so happy for him winning the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. He was my favorite player that I used to watch back in the days of the old Santet Stadium on campus. You can write that, then hit send. We'll get that message. We can read it on the air. You can record yourself on audio. Hit the record audio button. Talking about hey, I love Chip Hale, man. I saw Chip Hale hit a 2-run home run to beat Arizona State when I was in college, and then me and my buddies went out and drank about it. You can put that on our app. Just hit record app and record yourself saying that. You can also hit the share media button, and you can share that picture you took with Chip Hale back in 1987 when he was a student here at the University of Arizona, and you were hanging out with him over at Dirtbags or wherever. If Chip Hale, I'll have to ask him next time we talk to him if he used to hang out at Dirtbags. He wasn't real happy about, you'll hear this, he was not real happy about that picture that of him, that great facial expression picture that our guy Kelly Presnall caught. But yeah, you can send us a photo or a video. Maybe you have a video of yourself with Chip Hale. Hit share media, and you can send that to us via our app. So all kinds of ways you can interact with us on our app. All right, let's hear from the Pac-12 Coach of the Year in baseball, Chip Hale, and how he felt when he heard that he had won that honor.
It feels great. I mean, to me, it's a staff award. Everybody, Frankie Monk, our equipment manager, all the way to Kevin Vance, our pitching coach, every one of my staff members is so important, and what they've done for each player and to get them better. And to get us into the Pac-12, regular season championship is huge. Trip Couch recruiting, Toby with the offense, John and Kevin with the pitching, Will doing the operations, keeping everything smooth for the guys. It's a staff award, and very proud, obviously. The last year of the Pac-12, and unfortunately, that's the sad thing about it is when you start talking about those awards, you start thinking, boy, that's the last time this conference is going to be able to do that.
Well, in that respect, you were involved in the last sporting event, regular season Pac-12, and now the last conference,
right?
Anything with the league.
Yeah.
Just looking back on it, I know you said on the TV there you grew up watching the Pac-8.
Yeah.
And you played in the 10, and now coached
yeah.
the 12. Just looking back on it, just overall.
Well, it's just a great conference. Obviously, this is about student athletes, right? And giving them a great experience. And, I remember my experience in the 80s playing here and watching it, obviously. But now to see the experience these student athletes get now and the facilities they get to play in, and the weight rooms they lift in, and it's a great conference for that. Now, we move into the Big 12. We'll see how that is. But, just taking care of athletes, I thought the Pac-12 did a wonderful job.
Chip, just describe what it was like to coach in the ninth inning the other night.
Yeah.
Mason makes the great play in
Yeah.
short, they get the run, and then you guys come back.
Yeah, I think it was high pressure, obviously. And I think the biggest play that nobody really talks about is when they went ahead and got ahead by one and had first and third. And I went to Kevin. I said, "Would you think we should just walk Bazana and move on to the next hitter? He'd done so much damage against us." And Kevin says, "No, I think we should go after him." And then first pitch, he flies out. That was probably the biggest play of the whole night because it gave us some hope coming in. Like, hey, we're only down one. We can scratch out one in our ballpark. We're so good in the ninth. We've come back so many times. If it got to 2 or 3, it would have been tough.
So how are you approaching this tournament in terms of you want to win it?
Yes.
You also don't want to risk anything. You're going to go with Zastro for the first game?
Yeah, because we'll have Kent. We'll have everybody lined up after Zastro. And then Zastro is just going to be a lead, maybe 1, maybe 2, 3, who knows, inning-wise. And then we'll use the whole bullpen. And then we'll have Kent, Candiotti, and Walty available for the next 3 games. Obviously, we have to win, the first and second game or one of the 2 maybe. But our attitude going in is we want to win every game. We want to win every inning. We want to win every out. So we're going to do the best we can to win it. We didn't want to push, though, our Kent up a day again. This way he gets 7 days. And then for the regional, they'll get even 1 more day.
And you still feel good about him despite him having some struggles lately?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good team he pitched against. And they're going to score runs if you leave pitches up in the zone. His changeup just wasn't there on Thursday night. Everything else was good. He was throwing 95, 96 in the first inning. So his arm's fine. He's healthy. He just needs, as pitchers do, as you see Clark Candiotti doing his bullpen right now. They work on stuff constantly. It just wasn't there on Thursday night.
How do you go about making sure that there isn't any sort of letdown after such a game?
Yeah, well, that's always a tough part, especially with 18 to 22-year-olds. We started that yesterday at practice. We didn't have a great practice, and we talked about it. We'll give you a pass today, but tomorrow, let's have a good one. Be ready for Wednesday. Washington's going to bring everything they have at us, and then Cal, of course, on Thursday. So there's no doubt that is an issue. And in baseball, everybody's always like, well, that you weren't on tonight. Well, the problem is the guy pitching on the other team does, he has a job to get you out, and if he's getting you out, it doesn't look like your team's playing very well.
Does it help at all that Washington took 2 out of 3 from you guys?
It might. It might help. I think the guys felt like we should have won 2 out of 3. We had the lead in the 8th inning, and Washington did a great job of coming back and getting us. But I think that does add a little extra juice in it.
I'm sure you saw the great picture that Kelly Presnall from the Daily Star got of you, the expression on your face.
Yeah.
What were you thinking in that?
I don't know where that picture came from. If it was after the water hit me, but many family members have called me like, what happened or what was wrong with your face. So, wasn't real happy with that picture.
It was the Home Alone.
Weird.
Right?
Very weird.
So, getting back to sort of your role in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you defer credit to to other people. What have you tried to? What role have you tried to carve out as far as the success of this program?
Patience. I think patience is the biggest thing, and understanding what it takes. I mean, the one thing about coming from the pro side to the college side is, in pro ball, you're out of a game, you don't have a good start to it. You have 144 in the minor leagues, you have 162 in the big leagues. So be it. But every game is a World Series in college. The RPI means so much, and so it's super important to win every game. And so to be patient through a 9-inning game, understand that there's going to be ebbs and flows, which I do. If, like I said, 18, 22-year-olds sometimes don't understand that. So to just be patient, and if they need a little jab or a little kick in the butt, know when to do that. And so I think that's been probably my biggest goal this year.
What did you like about the way Cam handled Saturday, knowing what was at stake and what was on the line?
Yeah, he was just tremendous. I mean, he executed pitches, and he pitched Friday nights for us, the year before. He's a Friday night starter, anywhere in this league. And so to have him pitch your third game every weekend has been huge for us. I mean, if you think back to all the games, we lost a couple against ASU, he comes and wins. We lost some games early in the preseason, and we never, we were able not to get swept. That's a huge deal to win the Pac-12 because you're not getting swept all the time.
Because you'll be starting with bullpen arms, is there anyone, or do you want to hold some guys off so that you want to minimize the back-to-backs? Because that hadn't really been a thing.
Yeah. I don't think we'll worry about holding guys back. We'll try to win the game against Washington, and then hopefully we don't have to use the whole bullpen. I mean, if we do, then we're going to worry about back-to-backs. But then we'll decide on against Cal. Give Kent his pitch count, and then we'll see if we can pitch the guys that didn't pitch. We have 2 more pitchers will be on the roster because we get 30 on this. We get 30 on the roster.
What is the advantage of playing at night?
Oh, just the weather, I think. The morning, you either want the morning or the night. The midday one's going to be really hot. We're probably, us and ASU are the most equipped for it. We're used to the weather, but under the lights, guys get a little more juice too.
Has Garen been your most clutch hitter this season?
Well, I think it's gone in cycles. I mean, I thought for a while Adonis Guzman was getting us some of our biggest hits. He was huge. And then Garen's been pretty consistent with it. Summerhill's been pretty darn good. And Mason's, Mason, because of who he is and the high profile and the being from Tucson, he's had some struggles here and there, but boy, he's got some big hits. He won a Utah game for us. So, I think it's gone sort of through different people.
With Garen, though, something about his approach, he seems to be so middle of the field with his hitting.
Yeah.
Is that just by design that's where he sees it best?
Yeah, I just think good hitters hit the ball back through the middle. I mean, with the shift and all the things that have changed in baseball, that kind of has gone away. But really, if you have a good swing, you're going to be from gap to gap. That's where you're going to do your damage.
Coming off that regular season championship, coming off that boost, what are you doing to keep your players grounded heading into the postseason?
Yeah, we just talk to them and tell them. But just like we talked about earlier, there'll be some times during Wednesday night's game where they're going to have to kind of get their feet back on the ground and say, geez, we got to play baseball again. Because it may not start great. I mean, I know that. But through the 9 innings, there'll be some ebbs and flows. And maybe that's the best thing for them is just to realize, hey, this is another baseball game. We got to win.
What have you found is the key of these bullpen games when you might use 8 or 9 guys out there?
Well, I think Kevin does a really good job of matching up our bullpen arms with the other team's lineup. I thought the ASU game on the Tuesday night was masterful at picking who was going to go in and when they were going to go in, and we had our best matchup against their best hitters that we felt could get them out. So I think that's probably the key to it is just if you can do that. Now it's hard if somebody doesn't get that inning. You have to bring somebody in. I think we did it once with had to bring Hintz in the middle of the inning, and he got us out of it, then went back out. So that's the important part.
What's the health of the outfield heading into the tournament?
Yeah, well, we're going to, Breifogel's close. We're going to work him out pretty good today. Hopefully he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. Corona's probably not going to be able to play this weekend in the field. Maybe pinch run, maybe defense. We'll see. I don't know if he can grip a bat yet, but as soon as he can grip a bat, he'll be back in there. And then TJ Adams, just as soon as he gets some movement in that shoulder, he can start doing some baseball stuff. But and maybe TJ can run the bases this weekend too. He'll be on the roster.
What are your thoughts on this whole banana thing that's taken over?
I have no comment on the bananas. I don't know what's going on. I'm so focused. I see these pictures later on and people show me. It's like I have no idea.
Are you off limits during your in-game interview? Are they allowed to like put stuff?
They did in Utah. They kept handing me bananas. I didn't know what they were doing. So yeah, no, I don't think you're ever off limits in a dugout.
But the concept of them having this kind of thing,
right?
Even though you might not be involved in it, do you feel like as long as it's not distracting them from the game, but from what they need to do, then that's
yeah. I've said it all year. The one thing that's been unbelievable this year compared to the first two is our bench has been on fire. Win, lose, or draw, these guys are they're rooting their teammates on. They're ready. They're always ready to play. So yeah, I'm good with it.
He don't know nothing about that banana in the tailpipe. Does Chip Hale? But again, every team, like a few years ago, it was oh gosh, who was the reliever that was kind of the court jester in the dugout?
All of them.
2000. It's usually the relief pictures that kind of do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, his name will come to me. He dated Lauren Young for a while on the softball team. He actually played for the Soaros for a year from Texas. It'll come to me. But yeah, he was kind of the court jester on that team. And then there was the 1 year, I think that was maybe 16 as well. They kind of had the band, the guys, they would play, they would kind of air guitar those band songs, and they had that one song they would play all the time that was kind of real popular and would get them going. Every team has their kind of shtick that they do, and with this team, it's bananas. We're not exactly quite sure why that is or how it started, but according to Clark Candiotti today, it was a team kind of thing. It wasn't like one person started it. Robbie Medell was the reliever I'm thinking of, the court jester of that 2016 team that went to the World Series. He was a really fun-loving kind of guy.
You got to keep it loose, right?
Yeah, you got to have some guys that do that for sure. All right, DK on the sports tip. Much more coming up for you in the 5 o'clock hour. Cricket will have some more for you. J-Dub is here as well. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Heavy traffic and backups on Alvernon between Broadway and 22nd Street. Try Country Club or Columbus instead. Traffic on Craycroft closed between 5th Street and Speedway. You could use Rosemont as an alternate route. Crashes also reported McGee and Thornydale, Speedway and Alvernon, Rancho Sarita Boulevard and Saurita Road. Weather-wise, the low overnight 61, 94 and sunny tomorrow, and 94 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Ah, the feeling you get when gas prices go up again. Now you can lose that feeling forever because O'Reilly Chevrolet lets you say goodbye to gas stations and hello to savings with their state-of-the-art Blazer EVs. If you're looking for a vehicle with zero emissions and a dealership with zero hassle, look no further than O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Charge into the future at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
I don't have to tell you it's hot. Hi, this is Ron from Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Make sure your home is cool and comfortable all summer long. Routine maintenance can often prevent major breakdowns. Call us before the first sign of trouble. Call today, 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the potty, less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Roll it back. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always stocked. It's our party vibe. She's crushing in the face and what chicks feel fly. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Pac-12 baseball tournament getting underway up in Phoenix at Scottsdale Stadium, home of the San Francisco Giants for spring training. Game one of the day went to the Stanford Cardinal as they knocked off the kids from Tempe 8-7. Game two of the day featuring Utah against Southern California. And right now, the Utes are leading that game by a score of 5-1 over the Trojans. And then the third game of the day will actually be in the pool that will include the Arizona Wildcats. It'll be the 6 and the 9 teams playing tonight, as it'll be Washington, the number 9 seed, against California, the number 6 seed. And then again, tomorrow will be games at 10, 2:30, and 7 o'clock, with the Wildcats playing at 7 o'clock against the Washington Huskies. Oregon State and Stanford will play tomorrow in the early game. And then it'll be, Oregon State and Stanford. Then Oregon and Utah will play in the second game tomorrow. And then Arizona and Washington will play. Each team gets an off day at the tournament. So this is the Wildcats off day. Some teams will play today and then have, like California plays tonight, but then they don't play again until Thursday. So their off day is in the middle, the Wednesday. The Wildcats off day technically is today, and then they'll play back-to-back games on Wednesday and Thursday.
Kind of weird in that the 3-game weekend series are usually 3 days in a row. So, any change to your routine, I mean, baseball is very routine based, is it not?
It is.
So having that day off in between, I mean, obviously gives you a chance to get your pitchers and your bullpen a little bit of rest. But I wonder, just because they're so used to at this stage, how many weekend series have they now played in a row? But yeah, Arizona gets the bye before it starts.
Brian Jeffries will have the call in those games starting at 6:50 on Wednesday and Thursday against Washington and California. You heard we were talking with Chip Hale there today out at the stadium out at High Corbett Field, and he mentioned that the Wildcats will go with a bullpen game to start on Wednesday against Washington. Braden Zastro will get the start. Now, Zastro made 15 starts last year, but primarily out of the bullpen this year, having made just 2 starts, 16 appearances, has pitched just 20 innings this year after he pitched 76 last year. So that just goes to show you the major upgrade that the Wildcats made in their pitching staff this year, because Braden Zastro was a rotational starter last year, but this year he has come out of the bullpen, a 1-2 with a 4.43 earned run average in 16 appearances. He has made 2 starts, including he made the start in the bullpen game that Chip was talking about, the one that went so well at Arizona State was last week.
I remember when Kevin Vance was interviewed maybe last month. He talked quite candidly about the conversations they had when he was brought in, about the conversations with the pitching staff, about switching things up slightly, maybe changing pitches that pitchers were throwing and moving people from the bullpen to starter and vice versa. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, you hear all these. We've been hearing this last couple of weeks, DK, about maybe some infighting in the last 2 or 3 seasons among some of the position players and the pitching staff. But this year, I mean, the stats don't lie. I mean, especially with that control. We talk about walks per 9 innings. What do you think about bullpen games in postseason play?
Well, I don't like them. I'd rather have a long guy that I can use as that as that extra starter, but that's really just not the way that they've set this thing up. Traditionally, you kind of do have that 4th guy. He's your midweek guy who can give you 4 to 5 innings, and then you go to your bullpen after that. But this is not really the way they've done it under Kevin Vance. They've kind of gone in these 1-inning increments. And, there's sometimes it's worked beautifully. There's other times where it has not. I mean, we saw against JCU a few weeks ago. It did not work so beautifully that night. But it worked well.
Are you talking about the one where they gave up 24 runs?
Yeah. That game. So, I'd prefer maybe to have a guy that could give me 4 to 5 innings versus just 1. But that's kind of the way they've gone with this. And it looks like that's the way they're going to go in the opener. Because I get it. You don't want to push your rotation up a day. You already had to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week. And now if you push your rotation up, you're throwing your Thursday guy out there on Wednesday, so he doesn't have maybe the amount of rest that he's normally used to having. Although, again, if you're thinking in a professional standpoint, again, these guys aren't professional pitchers, but if you're thinking in a professional standpoint, you would say to yourself, well, Jackson Kent pitched on Thursday. In a 5-day situation like you would come up in professional ball, he's back out there on Tuesday. So why would he not be able to pitch on Wednesday? But that's just not the way that, it's a different mindset with the college pitchers because, again, they're not professionals. So they didn't want to mess with the rotation in that respect. So they're going to go with the bullpen game. And again, you're thinking long term. Yeah, this Pac-12 tournament is great and you want to win it. But at the end of the day, there's bigger fish to fry coming up next week at the NCAA tournament. And why risk your rotation to try to win this tournament? So that's the way they're going to treat it. We'll move everybody up just 1 day. So, guys, your number 1 is pitching on pitching on Thursday. So everybody gets a full week's rest from what they did last week. And then you got to figure out, obviously, you're looking at the potential of 4 games. So you're still going to have to figure out something for that championship game if you get there. Because you got Kent. Well, I'm sorry. You got, so you would have Kent in your second game, and then you would have Candiotti in your semifinal, and then you would have Walty for the final. So that's how it would sign up. So just the first game would be the one where you would need the bullpen. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Braden Zastro will face Jared Ingman. Jared Ingman for the Huskies is 0-7 on the season, so he has not won a game.
That's not great.
He has a 5.46 earned run average.
That's not great either.
I think, but I swear they had somebody that was not that great. When we went up there to Seattle, they carved us up.
Right.
So.
you get the pitchers 0-7 with a +5 ERA, and
Right.
he throws nothing but strikes.
Yeah.
It happens.
I mean, Washington just got into this tournament. Again, it's 9 of the 11 teams. UCLA and Washington State are not here this weekend. Their seasons are over already. So the Wildcats, the number 1 seed in this tournament. The game will be televised on the Pac-12 network. Our guy, Roxy Bernstein, will be on the call tomorrow, along with U of A alum Wes Clements. We're going to see if we can catch up with Wes and maybe have him on the show as well here in the next couple of days. We'll get his thoughts on the Wildcats, and he always has a lot of good stuff to say. He worked the series this past weekend against Oregon State, so he got a good look at his alma mater heading into the Pac-12 tournament.
I did track down that Kevin Vance interview that you did. I believe this is one of the remotes that we did this year out at High Corbett, and that was from the 2nd of April. So if anybody didn't get a chance to hear that interview, all of our interviews are archived at WildcatsRadio1290.com, and also on our app. You can go and find that Kevin Vance interview. He talks quite a bit about the changes that they made to the pitching staff coming in.
Wildcats and Huskies have met 76 times in baseball, dating back to 1992. Arizona has won 43 of those 76 meetings. So 43-33 is the all-time series. But again, like I said, the Huskies took the series last month in Seattle, winning that last game on a massive comeback. That was the game they were down 8-3 in the 8th. They scored 5 in the 8th to tie it, and then they won it, I believe, in the 10th. So all 3 of those games in Seattle were one-run games. Arizona won the first game on the Friday night to extend their winning streak to 11 in conference play, and then they lost the last 2 games. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, both of those games they lost in walk-off because that Saturday game went to extra innings.
Which ones?
I think the Saturday game in Seattle went to extra innings, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think both those games, both Saturday and Sunday might have gone to extra innings, but both of those were walk-off wins by the Huskies. So a lot of walking off this year in the Pac-12 conference.
Let's see. They won the first of that series 3-2, and then they lost 3-4, and then 8-9 in the 13th in the finale.
So there was the Sunday game then that went deep into
13, yeah.
13 innings. All right, coming up a little bit later, we're going to hear from the U of A men's golf team. Also, we've got, let's give you a little bit of what's going on with your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff!
All right, the Diamondbacks opening up a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers last night at Chavez Ravine. It was a series that did not get off to the greatest of starts. It was a 1-1 game when Freddie Freeman came up in the 5th with the bases loaded.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ciccone to Freeman, high in the air. Center field, hit deep. Field hit. Carroll's at the wall. It is gone! A grand swing for Freddie Freeman.
Did he say grand sling?
He said a grand swing.
Swing.
Yeah, I've not heard that one before. Yeah, grand swing by Freddie Freeman. Grand salami made the game 6-1. It would stay that way until the 8th when the Diamondbacks would try to claw their way back in.
1-2. Swinging a high drive, deep left field, and that ball is gone. Solo blast for Gurriel. That's his 6th. And the deficit down to 3. 2-2. That's hit well. Deep to right field. Back to back go the Diamondbacks on McCarthy's second of the season. Well, they're not done yet.
Yeah, well, they kind of were done at that point because they would get no more after getting back to within 2 at 6-4 as Daniel Hudson. Is that the Daniel Hudson? Is that our former Daniel Hudson at the back end of the bullpen right now? It is indeed our former Daniel Hudson pitching at the back end of the bullpen for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And he closed it out in the ninth, getting 2 Ks for a 6-4 win. Dodgers now 33-17. So they have opened up a pretty huge lead now in the National League West. They lead the San Diego Padres by 8 games. LA has won 4 games in a row. The Diamondbacks are 10 games out. So San Diego's 8 out. San Francisco's 9 out. The Diamondbacks are 10 games out. And Colorado, obviously, in the basement. They are 16 games behind right
So
now.
last year, when Arizona won their 22nd game, they were 22-18. And this year they are 22-26. So a little bit behind last year's pace this time of year.
Yeah. And in terms of the wild card, it's early, but
it's very early.
Because you're 8 games out in the division, it pays to at least look at this because I don't know if they're catching this Dodgers team. Again, this is a Dodgers team that went out and rebuilt itself and added the best player in the game who might be having arguably his best season of his career as a hitter. You know, take the pitching side out of it. Let Shohei Ohtani concentrate on one thing, and he's having his best offensive year of his career.
Yeah, I mean, and listeners who think we may be talking about home runs, no. Shohei leads majors in hitting, 353 right now.
Mm-hmm. So the D-backs are 2 games out of the wild card right now. The Atlanta Braves and the Chicago Cubs are your Wildcat leaders, and the Padres. The Padres have the 3rd spot, and so then it's San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. Right after that, the D-backs 2 games behind the Padres for that 3rd wild card spot. So again, just it's early, but the Dodgers are just cruising right now, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to catch them and try to win this division. So if Arizona is going back to the postseason, the Snakes are likely going to have to do so as a wild card. Brandon Pfaadt gets the ball tonight. He was brilliant the last time out. 1-3 on the season with a .417 earned run average. He'll face Gavin Stone for the Dodgers. Gavin is 4-1 with a .327 ERA. Your Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook opens as the favorite are the Los Angeles Dodgers at -165. Your over-under tonight is 8.5, -115 if you go with Arizona at the 8.5 over-under, -105 if you're looking at the Dodgers at the over-under. First pitch tonight of this ball game between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks will be at 7:10 p.m. All right, when we come back, I want to let you hear from Torey Lovullo because there's something great. I don't know if you realize this, but Torey Lovullo's going to be managing the All-Star team, the National League All-Star team this year. And he made a pretty impressive ad to his coaching staff for that. We'll dive into that when we come back. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions at a reported Kinney south of Gates Pass Road, Catalina Highway east of Harrison. Craycroft is closed between Speedway and 5th Street due to an earlier wreck. Maybe use Rosemont or Swan instead. Heavy backups on Alvernon between Broadway and 22nd Street where you could use Country Club or Columbus to save time. A 61 the overnight low, 94 sunny tomorrow, and 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So I wore my fancy new Christmas boots that my wife got me.
Ow, it don't hurt.
Got a cramp. See?
Gotta stretch before you do that.
Oh, my hip.
Stop trying to do crazy gymnastics in the studio.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2794. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This just in. Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & K with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We were talking about our Diamondbacks download in the last segment, and I mentioned that Torey Lovello is going to be managing the National League All-Star team this year, and as a result of that, he picks his coaching staff for that event, which is coming up later this summer, and one of the coaches that he selected is David Bell, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and they announced this when the Reds were in town I think it was like last week or a week and a half ago, and Torey talked about the decision to add David Bell to his staff and what it really meant to him, not just to him, but the Diamondbacks organization.
To me, it was a no-brainer, right? I had the opportunity to ask a guest manager or guest coach to join us from another National League team, and I thought about it. I kept going over it. The fans that don't know about the backstory would assume that the Reds were the last team to not make the playoffs. That was certainly a consideration. But this is a little bit deeper. I played with David in the mid-'90s. We played in Buffalo, so we were teammates. We sat in the same dugout, and I always appreciated the way he played the game. And I just have a very strong connection from that point forward with the Bell family. His dad was a mentor to me. I was a young coach in the Indian system. I spent a lot of time asking his dad questions, just talking infield and talking baseball. That is a very strong reason, but the strongest reason is because of his brother. His brother Mike ran our player development for a number of years. He has relationships with just about everybody, that all the young players you're watching on the baseball field perform at a high level. And I just wanted to honor Mike the best way I could. And then I worked it backwards, and it made so much sense for me personally and professionally to ask David to join us. And it's an honor for me to have him.
Thank you. Thank you, Tori.
Yeah,
it means so much, but it's especially meaningful because of Mike. Tori and Mike had a close relationship. I know that. I know the impact he had on you, the impact you had on him. A very close relationship. So that's why this is so meaningful to me. The relationships that Mike had throughout this organization meant so much to him, and the connection to this organization. So to be able to do this with Tori, it just means very much to me and my family. So thank you so much.
Now, if you don't remember the backstory of Mike Bell, again, was with the Diamondbacks for a number of years in a number of different roles. He was a manager in the minor leagues. He went into player development in the late 2000, or right around 2011, was the director of player development for several years, from 2017 to 2019, before leaving the organization to take a job with the Twins and to move back up to the major league coaching staff. This was in 2020, during right before the pandemic, that he left the Diamondbacks organization. Bell fell ill during the summer of 2020, and it was discovered that he had kidney cancer. And this was in early 2021, and it was a very quick process as Mike Bell passed away towards the end of spring training of 2021, just 2 months after his kidney cancer diagnosis. You heard Torey Lovullo mention Bell's father, Buddy Bell, obviously a longtime major leaguer, major league manager, major league coach. Buddy Bell, and obviously David played as well in the major leagues. And so David Bell added to the National League coaching staff for the All-Star game, and Torey Lovullo talking about the relationship there between him and the Bell family. Just a great story there about how the Diamondbacks continue to honor and remember Mike Bell, who was in their organization for a long, long time. Good to hear that from Torey Lovullo earlier this year. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We'll update you. Again, the Pac-12 baseball tournament is going on right now as we speak. The second game of the day is in progress. We'll give you another update on that. They are now in the sixth inning up at Scottsdale Stadium, and the Trojans trying to crawl back. Last time we updated you, SC was losing to Utah 5-1. It is now 5-3 in favor of the Utes in the bottom of the sixth inning up there at Scottsdale Stadium. So, and again, this is we were asking, and you'll hear from Clark Candiotti coming up in the next couple of days, but we had a chance to talk to Clark Candiotti as well, and obviously he played high school baseball here in the state of Arizona, but they don't really have a lot of the high school games are not played at Scottsdale Stadium. They use a lot of the other major league venues.
They got a lot of They got a lot of baseball fields up there.
Tempe Diablo is a popular stadium for high school baseball during the state tournament. The Hohokam Park in Mesa, they play some games there. They've also attended to play some games out in Surprise. They don't really use Scottsdale Stadium. So I asked Clark Candiotti today if he'd ever pitched there, and he said no. In fact, he had not had a chance to pitch there. So he'll be pitching there for the first time if, of course, the Wildcats get to the semifinals on Friday night. But, yeah, it's interesting. A lot of these kids grow up in Arizona, and you think maybe that they have pitched at a lot of the stadiums, if not all of the spring training complexes, because, you know, those complexes are so widely used, not only in high school, but also a lot of the travel leagues and those types of Perfect Game and all of those, if you're playing in that system there. Like we spoke with Darren Sutton yesterday you'll play at a lot of these Major League spring training facilities, but Scottsdale Stadium, not one in which Clark Candiati has pitched.
I think the Giants just don't want anybody messing up their grass.
Right, I guess so. It's Scottsdale. Everybody, it's all Scottsdale. It's all about Scottsdale.
Oh, I know. I know all about it.
All right, I want to update you on Pima softball. They played today in the second round of the National Junior College Athletic Association tournament, and the Aztecs fall to Northwest Florida State 7-0. So they are actually playing now. That was this morning. So the Aztecs are now playing an elimination game that started at 3:00 against Trinidad State. And we'll update you on that game as soon as we can get an idea of what is happening there. So if the Aztecs do not win in this current game in which they're playing, then their trip there to the championships will come to an end. Do you know, J-Dub, where Trinidad State is?
I mean, I would assume it's someplace similar, that it would be somewhere in
It's not in the nation of
South
Trinidad.
East. No. But I mean, because I just think of, because Miami has so many Cubans and Trinidad Tobago, I would think it would be there. But my guess is someplace in the middle of the country. So we'll guess like Wyoming or something like that.
Colorado, close. Trinidad State Junior College is in Trinidad, Colorado. Now, I have no idea where Trinidad, Colorado is. Let's look it up on the map here and see if it's anywhere close to Denver.
That's good radio.
It is actually right on the southern border of Colorado near the state of Texas. So there you go. It's even further south than Pueblo, Colorado State University, Pueblo, in which a lot of prepsters from southern Arizona go to compete for their sports teams. Trinidad State down near Texas. So that is who Pima is playing right now. Again, we'll get you an update on that game.
In the early 1900s, Trinidad became nationally known for having the first women's sports editor of a newspaper.
Wow.
Ever.
Nice.
1908.
And it has just gone final. We can tell you it has just gone final in Alabama. Pima falls to Trinidad State 3-0. So the Aztec season is over after 3 games at the national tournament. They were able to win their first game, but they lose today to Northwest Florida State from Niceville. Not so nice was Northwest Florida State. And they lose to Trinidad State 3-0. So the season comes to an end 43-14, the final record for Pima softball. So congratulations to those ladies, even though they fall at the national tournament. A tremendous, tremendous season for Rebecca Quiros and her ladies. Maybe we'll see if we can get Rebecca on the line in the last hour and get some thoughts from her as the season comes to an end.
Didn't they have like a 25-game win streak?
26 games.
26
games they won in a row. The WNBA, J-Dub, the Mercury are going to play tonight, and we also have the beginning of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight.
Yeah, about 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about, and we'll get to the WNBA a little bit later as well, and let you hear from a couple of the Mercury players as they go into Las Vegas to play the Aces again. Just put the Aces on the schedule early twice.
2 out of the first 3 games.
2 out of the first 3 games. And on the road, you got to go play them. Twice on the road in the first week of the season. But we were talking yesterday about T.J. McConnell, and you were remarking on how great a mid-range player he is.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that has also stood out, if you've and I went back and watched a little bit of the tape from his postseason, is he's really been getting to the basket.
That's what I meant. He can more or less get to his spots. He's not the quickest footed guy in the NBA, but he plays with such purpose and he knows exactly where he's going, and he has these little bursts, okay? And those bursts get him to where he needs to go. And because guess what? TJ McConnell is known not for his shooting, but for his passing. He's almost always going to be played for the pass. So most defenders are looking at those angles, looking to prevent lobs, and he's got to, he's clearly spent a lot of time in the weight room because he's got quite a bit more elevation on his jump shot than he did when he was here at the U of A. But yeah, I mean, you watch TJ play in the playoffs, and I think he's averaging about 6 assists, 11 points a game. May not jump off the page, but when he gets in there, he's really making things go for that Pacers team, playing without Benedict Mathurin, of course. Just pure will, right? Just sheer will is what TJ plays with out there.
Very aggressive in this postseason. Has TJ McConnell been, again, in getting to the basket, like J-Dub said, getting his shot, not forcing jumpers, and really making the defense have to guard him, which, again, like I think you said, that's probably not something they really were anticipating having to do. And he's very good with the shot fake as well. I mean, he gets guys off of their feet to leave their feet so that he can clear space to make shots at the bucket, get fouled. He's had a number of and ones in the postseason that have allowed him to really be a scoring force for the Pacers off the bench.
Yeah, and if you've watched any of the Pacers games this season, I mean, that's a team, DK, that is just looking to push. I mean, they are probably the fastest pace. I don't have the analytical numbers in front of me. They led the NBA in scoring for the longest time. They basically are trying to, even on made baskets, get the ball up the court. And in order to do that, they obviously traded Buddy Hield earlier in the year, but got Siakam. They don't have quite the outside shooting as they did with Hield there, who, as we talked about, has the most threes in the last 5 years of anybody in the NBA. But the way that they push, Tyrese Halliburton is at the head of that snake. I mean, he leads the NBA in assists by quite a bit. But if it's Nembhard or him or TJ pushing the ball, or Siakam, any of those guys get the rebound, they push it. I've seen them score in, similar to what we saw with Coach Lloyd's teams here at the U of A this year. The other team will make a basket, and they're going to score within 3 seconds. They push that ball so fast. A ton of open looks is what they generate. They just have offensive threats on all, and really, really, really unselfish basketball. None of those guys is looking to get theirs. Siakam does a little bit of mid-post stuff, but TJ more or less finds himself open in those mid-range and under the basket because, number one, they're playing him to pass, and number two, the 4 guys he's on the court with are all capable of knocking down the shot. So TJ's been doing a lot of his damage cerebrally because he knows that defenders aren't really playing him to score. Next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard, DK, and he's got 20 in the first half somehow. He's had quite a few games like that this year, just being really opportunistic, taking what the defense gives him.
All right, we'll dive into more about what's happening in the NBA as well as the WNBA. The Mercury, again, are on the court tonight against the Las Vegas Aces. We'll let you hear from a few of the Mercury ladies, including a young lady who is making her return to the WNBA after a few years overseas, Natasha Mack out of Oklahoma State. Cricket, though, is our main lady, and she's getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision I-10 near Keno occurred from the eastbound side of I-10 near Keno Parkway. Slowdowns for both directions of traffic on I-10. As you approach Keno, other collisions, Kinney south of Gates Pass Road, Dove Mountain north of Moore Road, McGee and Thornydale. Also a closure due to a wreck. Craycroft closed between Speedway and 5th Street. Heavy backups on Alvernon between Broadway and 22nd Street. 61 the low, 94 sunny tomorrow, and 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save money on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Again, that's Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. Stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SCHEV.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah!
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We're open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about happy hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Mas.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us that number. You can text us at that number. We mentioned Pima softball loses to Northwest Florida State and Trinidad State today down in Alabama at the NJCAA Division I softball national tournament. So the Aztec season is over at 43-14. That second game in the elimination cycle just went final a little while ago as the Aztecs shut out in both their games today, 7-0 and 3-0. Arizona softball obviously going on the road this week. They'll be in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We were talking about Stillwater a little bit earlier. They're hosting the NCAA Tennis Championships this week. We mentioned Colton Smith is on to the round of 16. Jay Friend also was competing in that event for the University of Arizona on the singles side. He lost his first round match in 3 sets, so he fought hard. He actually won the first set there this week, but lost the final 2 sets against a young man from Ohio State. So Jay eliminated in the first round, but Colton has won twice, winning his first round match on Monday and his second round match today to advance to the round of 16 tomorrow. So we'll look to see what Colton Smith can do tomorrow, and if he can get into the quarterfinals, that would be quite a boon for him as well as the U of A tennis program to have a player be able to do that.
I do have the answer to the question all the listeners are wondering.
Yes.
Which is, how did Trinidad, Colorado get its name?
Yes.
It's named after Trinidad Baca, who's the daughter of the owner of the Santa Fe Railroad that came through there in the 1800s.
There you go.
I'm wondering because Trinidad, I don't think of, again, the middle of America. That's what I guess because I'm sure there's some city in the middle of America that has a Trinidad name.
It's always got some type of historic relevance.
Always.
That's what I like about
That's what's great about this country.
Yeah. All right, Phoenix Mercury back on the floor tonight in Las Vegas. They are 1-1 on the season, lost their opener to the Aces, but then came home and got a win over the weekend. So far, that trade, now we were talking about the trade, how they traded out of the number 3 spot, the Mercury did, and got Kalia Cooper. Well, that worked out. That looks like it worked out real well, at least in the last game, because over the weekend in the Mercury's win, Kalia Cooper scored 38 points in that game for the home team. So pretty nice. It was an 88-85 win over the Atlanta Dream at the Footprint Center on Saturday night.
You mean Kalia Cooper, who's second in the WNBA in scoring right now?
Yeah. 38.9 will help you do that. She had 19 in the opener.
28.5 is the average.
Yeah. 47 in the first 2 games for Kalia Cooper. Also, excuse me, we were talking about Brittany Griner, obviously, is the big news. She's out indefinitely with a foot injury. So the Wildcats, the Mercury, brought in Natasha Mack, who has not played in the WNBA in a number of years, to kind of give them a little bit of extra muscle and height in that low block. And she's played pretty well through the first 2 games, not necessarily at the scoring end, but at the defensive end. She's what I believe she's averaging 2 blocks per ball game.
2.5. In fact, she's only playing 20 minutes a game right now, DK, but she is tied for 4th in the WNBA in blocks per game.
Yeah. So let's hear from Natasha Mack along with Sophie Cunningham, the popular forward for the Phoenix Mercury, as they get ready for tonight's game against the Las Vegas Aces. And Natasha talking about getting another opportunity to play in the WNBA. She started her career back in 2021, played just 4 games with 2 different teams that year in the WNBA, and then left to go overseas in 22-23, but back now in 24 with an opportunity with the Phoenix Mercury.
So obviously you were drafted 3 years ago, and you made your way back into the league, but I'm wondering, like, how do you encourage yourself to keep trying to get back into the WNBA over that time?
Honestly, I thought I was going to be done with it, so I just went overseas, developed my game, played with different teams, and just got better. And my agent got the phone call like, hey, you want to go to training camp for Phoenix? I said, yeah, let's do it.
Did you get any advice from other players, like, who'd been in similar situations on how to approach that process?
Honestly, I got advice from Shiggy. She was just like, keep working, keep grinding, because you know how she went undrafted. Next thing she made history here. So that really meant a lot.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, Sophie.
Hello.
So obviously Nate and Christy come into your team with a lot of NBA experience, and having spent some time on the Sun side, I'm wondering, like, what sort of NBA influences you felt in terms of your style of play this season, or just anything around the organization.
Yeah, I just think the way that they treat us like pros, they put a lot of trust in us. They give us a lot of freedom, which we haven't had before, but it's a good balance. When we're in and we're working hard. I'll tell you that. They expect that. But when we're not between the lines, they're chill and they treat us like normal humans, which is great. And then offensively, I think just the motion that they're running, how spaced the court is, they have a flow like the NBA, and with the people that we have and the abilities that we have on offense, just the firepower, I think once we can all kind of gel and find that chemistry and rhythm together, that we're going to light up the place.
Thanks.
Sophie, last week, the league announced that starting May 21st, teams would begin charter travel. So I was wondering if the Mercury arrived in Las Vegas using the team's charter program, and if you're leaving Vegas using the league's charter program.
Yeah, no, we still flew a normal flight on the way up here. Which is not good. I think on the way home, we finally get our charter. With that, we always, we're grateful. Do not get me wrong. We are so grateful that we're able to start chartering. But with that, there's a lot of things that need to be adjusted. Our bags and some of our people can't fly with us because our charter is too small, while other teams get big planes. we want to talk about a competitive advantage. Well, that's one right there, that our team has to be split up and our bags don't even get to travel with us. And so the social media makes everything sound so great and so butterflies and rainbows now that we got the charters, but half the teams don't even have a proper charter to fly with your whole team. So we are grateful, but there's still work to be done. And I do think that we do get a charter home tonight, which is good. But again, not everyone gets to come with us. So still needs room for improvement.
Earlier, you were talking about the offense. I want to shift gears and talk about the defense. Nate's defense requires a lot of communication. Can you talk about what goes into being a unit defensively?
Yeah. I mean, when you have someone, were you asking me?
Both of you, yeah.
Oh,
Both
you go.
and Sophie, yeah.
I think when you have our personnel, that it's going to be really fun to play defense. Like we all have each other's back, and that's something that we haven't had here since I've been here. When you have a mobile 5 who can protect the rim and who's getting boards and kind of shocking the league right now, it makes it easy too, because you have trust that if you get beat, you have someone behind you who's going to beat people's stuff up. But I just think that they're very defensive focused, and when you can do that, you win championships, and it's proven. The past couple teams who won the championship, they've been 1 and 3 leading the defensive charts in our league. And so I think they're on the right track. They know what we need to do. But again, when you have us who are feisty, we're long, we're quick, and we're all dogs on the court, like that's just a tough defense to go against. She said it all. You didn't even know the question, so I had to.
And then, yeah, you also mentioned the rebounding. Just with the first 2 games, what have you seen from the team's rebounding?
Man, so like really, I try to go for every defensive rebound. If not, I know one of my teammates is getting it. We just really depend on each other and trust each other. We know like what everybody's strength is and weakness is, and like we just ride for each other.
And we also know that we're small right now, so we don't have a choice. Like everyone has to rebound. We're not getting a lot of breakaway layups right now because we know it's going to be a gang rebounding night against everyone. But right now, I mean, we have 5 or 6 people who are averaging 5 to 6 rebounds, and no one else in the league is doing that. And so when we say that our focus is defense and rebounding, and that leads to great offense, I mean, it does.
Last week against Las Vegas, you guys ran a little bit of zone defense against them, but in one-on-one situations, Natasha, you were the primary defender for Asia Wilson. So kind of looking back at the film from that game, what are some of the things that you learned? And going into this game tonight, how has your confidence grown in that one-on-one situation?
It's really grown with the team just trusting me, even though I'm like a rookie. They're just like, Mac, you got it, you could do it. And watching film, I know I can put a little bit more pressure on her. I was letting her get like too many easy shots, not really pressuring her, knowing she's a good shooter and she drives the love a lot. So working with them, they helped me out a lot.
All right, that is Natasha Mack and Sophie Cunningham of the Phoenix Mercury and Las Vegas Aces tonight, 7 o'clock up in Las Vegas. The Mercury are the 5th best rebounding team in the WNBA to start this season after just 2 games, averaging 38 boards per contest. The Aces come in as the 2nd best scoring team in the league, though, averaging 89 points per contest. And the Indiana Fever are 0-4 to start the year, having lost all 4 of their games. But Caitlin Clark is leading the league in three-point shooting with 12 three-point shots made in terms of shots made. She's made 12 three-pointers in her early
Some
career.
other WNBA news came out today. Speaking of Angel Reese, you might have heard of her from her LSU days.
Yes.
She bought a soccer team.
I heard that,
She's an investor in a soccer team out of D.C., and aforementioned Caitlin Clark, did you hear what happened today to her? She signed an endorsement deal, with Wilson. And that's a 3-year partnership, apparently, with a signature ball or multiple signature balls coming out. You know why that's news? Wilson has only had one other signature ball in their history, Michael Jordan.
Wow.
So Caitlin Clark is in some interesting company there, signing a deal with Wilson, including signature balls through the next 3 years.
That, again, big-time investments. Investing
while the iron is hot,
and investments coming out of these young ladies for the WNBA. Very, very nice to hear. But what is not nice to hear is that the Mercury's local TV deal is very similar to the Suns. So I can't get the games down here Much like I couldn't get the Suns games. If you live on the east side and you have Cox, you can watch tonight's WNBA game for the Phoenix Mercury on Cox. I believe it's Channel 19. But if you live up by where I live up in Xfinity territory, you can't watch the games because the Suns/Mercury still do not have a deal with Xfinity. So I guess I have to get my rabbit ears out if I want to watch the game tonight.
Caitlin Clark also leading the WNBA in turnovers.
Yes.
In the young season
It's
because
been
of
tough.
course. I mean, they're going to come after her.
Did you see
They're
that?
going to come after her.
Did you
DK.
see the pick that Brianna Stewart set on her in that game over the weekend?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, she got,
Welcome to the WNBA.
Where's my help there?
Right.
Somebody let me know that screen is coming.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it because this is how athletics works. And this is, women's, men's sports. It doesn't really matter what it is. But if you're a hotshot in high school, DK, and you step on campus at a major university, you know what the first thing that the juniors and seniors on that campus are going to do is explain to you how it's different now. And this is a different level, and you don't know what's going on, and we're going to show you on the field or on the court. Same thing when you go to college. If you're, one of the... Now, she is a little different because she just broke... You know why Caitlin Clark's name is in the news more than anything? She broke Pete Maravich's scoring record,
Yeah.
DK. I mean, that hasn't been... She scored more points than anybody in the college basketball history, and that record stood for 50-plus years. So the idea that she's... and played the championship game and all these things, of course she deserves all of this attention, and all that attention is just going to bring extra defensive awareness from those adult women who have been playing in that league for a long time and hit the weight room a lot more than she has. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to be like that.
All right, the Cardinals have started OTAs. Your Arizona Cardinals. We'll get into that in the 5 o'clock hour, as well as you'll hear from the U of A men's golf team. They should be in California by now. They were they were busing, so they actually probably aren't there quite yet. I forgot they were not flying. They're busing, but they are on their way to Carlsbad, California for the NCAA Men's Golf Championships. The ladies are all there now, but not the U of A ladies, but the ladies are playing the same course now. It's a totally redone course at the La Costa Spa and Resort, and so no one has played it.
I thought you were going to say La Costa Nostra.
La Costa.
That's different.
Yeah. The Mile has a course now.
Right.
Out in Carlsbad,
Don't
California.
cheat.
Yeah, no.
They don't like that.
They don't like that. Not at all. You might get your knuckles broken, or your hands broken, or something, fingers chopped off.
Something.
Yeah, something. Anyway, it's a brand new remodeled course. Nobody's played it, so we'll hear from the guys about how they intend to navigate that to try to get into the match play quarterfinals coming up on Monday.
That's so weird. So I'm sorry to interrupt, DK,
Yeah.
but it's just so weird to me because the basketball court's the same no matter where you are.
Right.
Right? Baseball's, the outfield slightly varies, but not so, but golf courses are always so different. So going to a situation where you've never played the course, never seen it, right? And then you have to do a championship level play. It's just so unique. There's no other sport that has anything like that.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Much more of that coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip with J-Dub and Cricket. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Crash occurred on I-10 near Keno from the eastbound side of I-10 near Keno Parkway. There are some slowdowns for both directions of traffic on I-10 approaching Keno Parkway. Got some backup southbound Alvernon approaching 22nd Street due to road work. Other crashes, Dove Mountain north of Moore Road, Kinney south of Gates Pass Road, and also McGee and Thornydale. 61 the low, 94 sunny tomorrow, and 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Introducing Chumba Casino, the thrilling online social casino that's free to play. Head on over to ChumbaCasino.com now to join in on the fun. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This
is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Sometimes the biggest topic on our show is the show. Some days the main story in the jungle is the jungle, and today's one of those days because if you missed the end of the show yesterday, you missed a major announcement, and the major announcement is this. We have a launch date officially for our brand new stream on the X platform. Our radio program, The Jungle, is going to launch on the X exactly 1 week from today, Tuesday, May 28th. 1 week from right now, I will be speaking to you live on the X. If that fake brick wall was still right here in this studio, I would be ready to run straight through that fake brick wall like the Kool-Aid Man. We have been grinding on this new project for quite some time now, and I seriously cannot wait to finally show it off to all of you. It's been a fairly massive undertaking, but it's going to be worth it. Mark it down.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you pick up a new pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Icon wiper blades have up to a 40% longer life than other premium wiper blades. The professional parts people will even install them for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Get in on the playoff action as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app right now. Use the code ROME for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We're open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about happy hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Moss.
Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we fight. We fight for accident victims, injured workers, abused seniors, those harmed by dogs, negligence, or malpractice. We fight the government and big corporations. And most importantly, we fight the insurance companies. We've been fighting for Arizonans since 1989. We go to court, we fight, and we win. Call Goldberg and Osborne and let the Eagle fight for you. Now accepting work injury cases.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Final hour of the program on this Tuesday. Just one more day to go until we've got more Arizona baseball for you coming up Wednesday and Thursday from the Pac-12 tournament, where Arizona is going to be the number 1 seed. And they will take on the Washington Huskies in their first game, the California Golden Bears in their second game of pool play. Second game of the day being played right now in Scottsdale. Utah holding on to a 6-4 lead over Southern California, playing in the bottom of the 8th. Earlier today, Stanford held off a late charge by ASU to win their opening game. So it looks like Stanford and Utah are going to be the initial winners coming out of the gate of this Pac-12 tournament opening day up in Scottsdale, Arizona. Wildcats will again play 7:05 tomorrow night. Our coverage will begin at 6:50 with Brian Jeffries from Scottsdale Stadium against the Washington Huskies. Should be a fun time. Now,
Think Jed's going to be there this time?
Don't think so.
He was at the last one.
Do not think Jed will be there this time. We were talking about the WNBA in the last half hour. The Mercury play tonight at 7 o'clock against the Las Vegas Aces. If you have Cox, you'll be able to see that game. If you don't have Cox, you won't, unless you want to hook up your rabbit ears and pull it in on 13.3 or whatever it is, that you can do so on your over-the-air signal, as they call it now in the digital realm of television. Ari McDonald and the Los Angeles Sparks are also playing tonight. Ari, they are, I believe, they're 0-2 in their first 2 games this season. Ari has played just 16 minutes in their first 2 ball games, so coming off the bench but not getting a lot of time off the bench is Ari McDonald. 0 for 4 from the floor in those 2 games, but she has dished out 5 assists in those 2 games to go along with 1 steal, but not at the moment a prominent part of that rotation. Now, Ari was injured playing overseas, and so I don't know maybe if that might have something to do with it. Her still maybe not fully healthy and back from the injury that she suffered playing overseas this past winter, but we'll have to kind of see how that begins to flesh out for Ari McDonald over there.
I do have Kia Nurse and Lexi Brown, who are their second and third leading scorers, respectively, and a lot of small guards on that roster. And obviously, they brought her in for some scoring punch as well, and obviously the ability to facilitate. Sometimes I think it just takes a little time, right, to ingratiate yourself into the new system and get to know the players. So it looks like she got a normal amount of minutes in that first game. Second game could have been just matchup based, but she only got the 6.
Yeah. So they will take, Cameron Brink obviously is on that roster right now as well. The rookie out of Stanford is playing. You mentioned Kia Nurse, who played for a long time with the Phoenix Mercury, also on that team as well. So they're still trying to find them. So they're not expected to be a very good team, are the Los Angeles Sparks this year. So it could be some growing pains there for Ari and her squad. Somebody's got to win, though, tonight. They're taking on the Washington Mystics. They play at the Pyramid, interestingly enough, down in Long Beach, and Washington comes in at 0-3, so could be a winning night tonight for the Sparks. 2 winless teams looking for that first victory. One other game tonight, Dallas taking on Atlanta, and the Wings are leading that game 41-31 currently. All right, the also coming up is we were talking about the NBA. 1 game tonight, but tomorrow the Western Conference Finals will get underway between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks are in no strangers to the Western Conference Finals. They've been in it before. But this is the first time they've been in it with Kyrie Irving leading the way for this team. And it's this, we talk about the storylines of this postseason in the NBA, and I think one of them is the redemption of Kyrie Irving. Here's a guy, and I've not made my feelings about Kyrie. I've not been shy about them. I'm not a real big fan of his. I think he broke up the family in Cleveland when he left, and I didn't really like that. He's been kind of loosey-goosey ever since then in Boston, in Brooklyn. He's just been one of those guys that's just kind of been out there. He's said weird things. He's done weird things. But it seems like maybe he's starting to grow up a little bit. And maybe he's finally found a home with this Dallas Mavericks team and playing with Luka Doncic as his wingman. These two guys together seem to have pushed this team to the brink of a chance to go back to the NBA Finals, a place that he got really used to going to with LeBron James in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I think the greatest thing is, you mentioned Kyrie's off-the-court antics, COVID kind of shot that into the next stratosphere. But I think ever since he's gotten to Dallas, he's been a good boy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't heard much controversy off-court. And on the court, DK, the Mavericks made some moves mid-season to shore up their defense, and they've really had a defensive identity in the second half. But it's kind of like what you expected from this year's Suns or from maybe the Brooklyn Nets when they had Kyrie and KD, in that what they're doing is if Luka's got it going, Luka takes the ball 5 times in a row and Kyrie rests. And then in the second half, you'll see a spurt where Kyrie will score 14 consecutive points. More than anything, though, I've watched quite a few Mavericks games this postseason. Kyrie Irving's effort on defense, Kyrie Irving diving for loose balls, all those little intangible things, you can tell he is fully bought in. I mean, all that's on Kyrie's mind right now is not what shape the earth is. It's about whether or not the Mavericks win the game. And, man, the Mavericks look really good with their young front line. And Luka is Luka. Luka, has been banged up as well. We haven't talked much about that. He's not really himself. Led the NBA in scoring this year, for those who weren't paying attention. But with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, going back and forth, that's a really, really tough, because they're not necessarily in a lot of screen roll action at the top. You might think of KD and Book getting in a pick and roll action and then having the defenders to pick their poison. Kyrie and Luka are ISO guys more than anything. And, yeah, when you get one of them going downhill, Kyrie might have the deepest bag of shot making of anybody in NBA history, to be honest. He's show me a layup and Kyrie Irving can make it, right? And so when he's healthy and he's got his head screwed on right and he's not, causing waves in the locker room or whatever, I know that Coach K, you have to have respect for him, said that Kyrie Irving was the best recruit he ever recruited. So that's who Kyrie Irving is and always has been. It's going to be a fun final couple of weeks for the NBA playoffs, just because everybody outside of Boston, it's a lot of new faces. Kyrie's used to this platform, but I think the last time that the Mavericks were there would have been with Dirk, right? So, it's been a minute for them. Certainly not with this roster, and certainly not. I know Luka, actually, they might have been to the conference finals 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think they one time
when they beat the Suns.
With the Suns, yeah.
When they beat the Suns in that one Game 7 and blew them out. Sorry for the bad memories, Suns fans. But, yeah, I think that year they might have made the conference finals as well. But they were a very incomplete team. This year, sometimes it takes time to gel, but the defense that the Mavericks have been bringing, and news is, as of today, that Mike Conley Jr. may not be able to go in the first game. So that's a big, big blow for the Timberwolves. You saw what they looked like in Game 6, where the Nuggets just blew them out of the water without Conley. Ant was asked in the postgame of Game 7 why it was that they had success, and he said Mike Conley Jr.'s back. Full stop.
Well, let's hear a little bit from Kyrie Irving on getting back to the conference finals and what that meant to him and the celebration of that after the Game 7 win over the weekend, beating Oklahoma City.
Just that whole walk-off, hugging my family and then going and hugging some more of my family in the locker room, everybody cheering for each other. And I had to make an impromptu speech, and I was doing my best not to let some tears come down from my eyes, because it feels like it's been a long time coming, just being back in this position, getting back to the, finals or the conference finals. it was just a long way back, and I look back at parts of my career where I took it for granted, just getting to the conference finals, for 3 years straight, and then not getting back for a little bit, to weigh on you as a competitor. So I'm grateful that I had these guys beside me and kept feeding me confidence and, kept doing the little things for one another. And I think that's what, made the celebration feel that much better.
So that's Kyrie Irving back in the finals of the conference finals anyway, with the Dallas Mavericks.
I got a question. Are you rooting for Kyrie Irving?
Am I rooting for him? I don't know if I'm rooting for him. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm rooting against him. Yeah. I'm rooting for Minnesota. I'd like to see Minnesota. I mean, I'm going again, and I've talked about this a lot for the season. Minnesota is one of those places that it's tough to win.
Yeah.
Because guys just don't want to play there. It's frigid cold in the wintertime, and it's not, I mean, people talk about it being a great city, and I've known a number of people that have lived in Minneapolis, and they rave about it.
Yeah.
They said, it's cold, but if you work downtown, looks like the entire downtown is like underground.
Walkways.
You can you have all these underground walkways, so you really don't even have to leave to go to where you need to go if you're downtown. And they tolerated the winters, but they say other than that, it's a really, really great city. So I just think it's one of those places, though, that guys don't necessarily, they're not ever going to get a lot of top free agents. And so it's good to see them be in this position, and I'd like to see them get there and have a shot to win.
I think it was 88, 89 that they and the current Bobcats came in, right? And I remember that. I was in high school at the time, and it was Kevin Garnett. I think they went to 7 or 8 consecutive playoffs with Kevin Garnett, DK. Never once got out of the first round. Then they had Kevin Love, and they were consistently a playoff team with Kevin Love as well. Could never get out of the first round. So, I mean, that's the team franchise with maybe the longest success at getting into the playoffs with very little to show for it. On the other end, you got the Pacers. Boston and the Mavericks have both. Boston has 11 titles, 14 titles, something like that. The Mavericks but won 12 years ago with JT and those guys. The Pacers have never won an NBA title either. Pacers won an ABA title, but have yet to win an NBA title. So either of those, I like the under. At this stage, if I don't have a rooting interest or players that I've been watching a ton of Pacers, as I say, pretty regularly these last 48 months because of Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell. I really, really like Halliburton. I really, really like that style that they play. But I agree. I mean, it's got to be the Timberwolves or the Pacers to me. Obviously long-suffering, I'm making air quotes here, long-suffering Boston Celtics fans would love to see Tatum and those guys, Tatum and Brown, get over the hump. But to me, I like to see the underdog. I like to see franchises and cities, just like you laid out there with Minnesota, with really strong fan bases and support that haven't had a chance to overturn cars and burn light poles this time of year.
All right, let's hear from Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch real quick on the challenge of facing an athletic defense like the Dallas Mavericks.
It starts with the rim protection. They got 2 long, active, athletic bigs that really swallow up the rim. They do a really good job of generating turnovers, kind of shut the lane down. In and around the paint, they're very tight. And they got good length and athleticism to fly around and contest. So.
You guys had a week off before each of the last 2 series. There's 2 days here, and you're just coming out like a 7-day battle.
Yeah.
What is the challenge here of turning the page so quickly and kind of refocusing?
Well, I mean, you got the emotional piece. You got to put the last series behind you quickly. And then obviously you got to try to load up on all the new information. You don't have a whole week to prepare, so. But that's just the nature of how these things go. Fortunately, like I said, we've been pretty good in pick and roll. And just have to get back to doing that.
Chris, you were really complimentary of Ant and his commitment to the offensive game plan in both series. What do you want to see him abide by offensively in this series?
Well, we have a feeling we know how they're going to guard him. We'll have to see once the games start. But yeah, I just got to continue to make the right play. Sometimes the right play is when they put 2 on you, getting off it at the right time to the right person. Sometimes it's avoid playing in the crowd, getting out of it a little bit earlier. Sometimes it's shooting when you're open. So yeah, I mean, he's been doing it all playoffs, no matter what the looks have been. So we just got to be ready to kind of read and react to what happens. But I have every confidence that I'll continue to do it.
All right, that's Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He had a little bit of an injury there, and the Suns,
patellar tendon.
Yeah, it's not
He's
fun.
been sitting behind the bench during the last 3 weeks of playoff activities because he can't get out there and stand up.
No, but still coaching his team well, and they'll play tomorrow night in Game 1. All right, we'll have much more coming up for you. Arizona men's golf, we're going to hear from them. They are on their way to the NCAA championships. We'll hear from the fellows on this fancy new course they're going to be playing on out there, as well as the Cardinals have made a change to their offensive line. Jonathan Gannon will tell you what he's doing to retool things up front, in front of one Kyler Murray. It's DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is with me. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Grant east of Country Club. Grant Road at Palo Verde, a reported pedestrian struck. Collisions that are reported in clearing Dove Mountain north of Moore Road. Kinney south of Gates Pass Road. Earlier collision occurred eastbound I-10 near Keno Parkway. Still some slowing for the eastbound side of I-10 approaching Keno Parkway. 61 the low, 94 sunny tomorrow, and 95 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
They're back. The lot is starting to fill up. The vehicles are back. The incentives are back. And we're welcoming you to come back. See us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson trusts 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
We return now to Eugene Snarkle, UberTube video star, and his best friend Doug.
Eugene, what happened to just buying a new set of tires at Jack Furrier's?
Way too easy, Doug.
Yes, Eugene. Jack Furrier's makes buying tires easy. So what's up with all the rubber cement and electrical tape? And why are you putting it all over your tires?
It's basic science, Doug. This Uber hack should give me another 6 months on these old treads and make me locally world famous on UberTubes.
So you'll be risking your life and your reputation.
Yes, Doug. It's all for my UberTube fans.
Well, could you at least wait a week before you try driving up Mount Lemon?
At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we make buying tires easy. Our local warehouse is filled with thousands of great options, all at one low price. If you need tires for your passenger car, truck, SUV, van, 4x4, RV, boat, or UTV, call us or go online to jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the Just Capital seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 for ongoing commitment to their workers, with initiatives like Sharing Success, which awarded 97% of their teammates additional compensation, nearly all in stock. This is the program's 7th consecutive year, awarding more than $4.8 billion in total. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Do summer projects your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot.
With free delivery on over 2 million items, you can make the most of summer grilling and dig into gardening. Plus, get same-day delivery on thousands of products like power tools and storage to tackle any last-minute garage project. Summer your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by T-Mobile. 2 WNBA games on the schedule Monday night. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever come so close to their first win of the year, falling by 4 points to the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin with 17, including a logo 3 and 5 assists, all in the fourth quarter. Despite the team's early struggles, Clark believes good days are ahead for the Fever and their fans.
Yeah, I thought our crowd was great. They rallied behind us. They gave us some great energy, and, I hope they continue to come back because it's going to be a fun season. We got to remember we played 2 of the top teams in the league, and we were right there with the Sun tonight and really had a few opportunities to take the lead and, give ourselves a chance.
Indiana is now 0-4 on the season. Elsewhere in the W, the Liberty stayed undefeated with a 74-63 victory over the Seattle Storm. New York led by star guard Sabrina Ionescu with her 20 points. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800. Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate. Because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 if you want to call and chat with us on this Tuesday afternoon. We had a chance to chat with the Arizona men's golf team prior to their exit today to the NCAA championships over in Carlsbad, California. The fellas are going to be playing at a beautiful course there. It's called the Omni La Costa Spa and Resort Golf Club. It is been remodeled, and nobody has really played on it. They're holding the women's tournament on it as we speak. And the men then will follow this coming week. And so fellas today talked a little bit about what they expect not only from this course, but just the chance to play for a national championship this coming weekend.
Yeah, I think it's set up pretty good for us, and we just had a really good week that I think from start to finish we enjoyed it. We said it when we played the practice round that we really like how the course looks, and we kind of just executed it really well.
For you, Zach, obviously to be in this round, what does that mean for you guys as a team to be able to advance to, the NCAA championships in Carlsbad?
Yeah, obviously it's really cool to be there. This is my second year. I wasn't able to make it last year, so it's definitely cool to get there this year. Really wanted to make it, so I hope we make the best of it.
And Zach, a couple of the guys got off to a hot start, Tiger, and I know Sam did. How does that help you? I mean, you do some practice rounds, but you don't know really, you haven't had a ton of experience on that course. And then they jump out to a really good first round.
Yeah, first round is really important. I think when you can find yourself with the lead and be able to kind of comfortably make your way down the last couple of days, I think that's a big advantage. Obviously, last year it was harder to come from behind, so I think anytime you can get ahead, it's a bonus for sure.
And I believe that similar thing happened at Pac-12s, right?
Yeah.
A couple of the guys, and I want to say it's Sam again, had a really good first round. And a couple of others. Is there something about what he's picking up really quickly on that course that helps you and that helps the team in general?
I mean, yeah, anytime any of us can put some good rounds together, and it makes it easier for the rest of us. So I think that's the key.
For any of you guys, what was the difference between the performance at Pac-12 and then the performance at regionals? I know it's a completely different course and all that, but just pushing aside one tournament and then just moving on to the next. For any of you guys? Yeah.
Ran on that course.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, for me, I think we prepare for every tournament the same way, and it just, the Pac-12s didn't work out. I think the course was fine, everything was all right, and the fact that we just didn't have our week that's just golf, I think.
How was it playing in the ring? Did you think it?
It wasn't.
Regional?
Oh, regionals. It was probably fine. I'm pretty sure majority of us are used to it from back home, and it wasn't even raining too hard, so I think it was all right.
And perseverance with you saying the Pac-10 didn't go well, and then you turn around and do the regional. What happened there for any of you, each of you?
Well, me personally, I just tried to just accept it, because golf is all about upsides. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not ideal. And I think that's the same for everyone, pretty much.
Sam, how familiar are you guys with this course that you're going to play this week in Carlsbad?
It just opened up a couple weeks ago, so yeah. So honestly, we haven't played it at all. But our team's played a lot in California, so we kind of know how to play over there. So I think we'll feel comfortable for sure down there.
This is a totally brand new course. What have you heard about the design of it?
Yeah, not too much. We were watching a little bit on TV from the women's NCAAs yesterday. But I think, yeah, it just opened up a couple weeks ago. They redid it, so I don't have too much to say on the course, but it looked pretty cool. Looked pretty cool. So.
Tiger, did you watch yesterday? What did you kind of maybe pick up?
I thought the greens looked pretty slopey. So I heard a couple of people say that the greens are going to be pretty undulated. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say when nobody there is going to be able to play this golf course before NCAA, so nobody really knows what's up. So yeah, we don't really have any insight at all. I think it's just going to be important to make a good practice and have a great strategy and then stick to it, and kind of, that's what you do every tournament anyway, so it's nothing new.
For three of you, you haven't been there before, right, in this championship round. What are you feeling this week going into it? Because this is where you want to be at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak for Philip and me from Europe. I think we might have never played an NCAA championship before, but we played dozens of European team championships, and it's really nothing else. It doesn't matter if it's an NCAA or a European team championship. It's pretty much all the same thing to me, so that experience will carry over.
How's your team's mentality, your mindset for this upcoming thing? How are you guys grouping yourself together?
I think we've had a good preparation. We did a couple of team activities. We went bowling, and just to get that team chemistry really dialed, and I think we have a pretty good one. So I think that's massively important at a team tournament. I think it can make a win or lose situation between teams that are competing head to head, because everyone's really close, everyone's playing good. So if you can get that 1% somewhere and find it somewhere, if it's just really wanting it for your teammates or something along those lines, I think is important, and we've done a pretty good job of preparing for that.
Zach, what does it say about the week-to-week of these events, going back to Pac-12s? I mean, obviously ASU dominated that event, but then they didn't qualify out of regionals. You guys didn't play well there, but then you qualified out of regionals. What does it say to kind of these events week-to-week and how you have to approach it?
I mean, it's kind of just like, it's almost like you just got to get hot at the right time. Obviously, last Pac-12s, it would have been really nice to get it done there, but we weren't able to. But we just got back on track and, headed up to Purdue, and, we had a good week. And I think it just goes to show that 1 week really doesn't define a team, and you can bounce back easily for sure.
All right, those are your Arizona Wildcat golfers. You had Zach Polo there. You had Tiger Christensen. You had Philip Jakubich and Sam Summerhauser speaking. They will be the primary four. Johnny Walker, we understand, will be the fifth to play in the 5 this week at the NCAA championships, and then they'll have the freshman Tioni, a.k.a. Tony Zhang, will be the 6th and will play as a substitute if necessary this weekend. So we'll hear from Jim Anderson coming up tomorrow. And one of the questions I had asked him, because, again, Tony Zhang was a guy that early in the season was playing very well. We saw at that tournament at the country club. He had a shot to win it late.
Yeah.
But has not been able to play his way into that 5 here in the postseason. It's tough to get into that 5 that's going to be up and available on match day. And even though he's played well throughout the year, it's not been easy for him to get through the team qualifying process to get into the starting 5.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you got a good group, freshmen. I mean, we saw the low scores earlier. I remember talking about him and how he was pushing his way into that group. But clearly the 5 they've got, really happy. Also, the part where you're talking about how no golfer has played that course. So it's equal. I must have been there 10 times because my uncle was in Encinitas for the longest time, and that golf course is only about 6 miles from that area. So it looks great. I'm looking at some pictures here of the revamped golf course. Undulating greens is right. It definitely looks like there's going to be
that's
some
exactly
slope.
what you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it exciting for sure.
So the NCAA, like I mentioned, the women are playing there right now, and we'll update you on. They're actually into the match play phase of that particular tournament, and I believe they played match play what's today? Tuesday. So they played quarterfinals yesterday. Update you on what happened yesterday. LSU lost to Oregon. LSU was the number 2 seed coming in, so they lose to Oregon 7-2, and then UCLA was the 6th seed. They beat Texas A&M, the 3 seed, 6-3 zip in match play. Stanford was the number 1 seed. Stanford beat Auburn 3 zip, and then Southern California was the number 4 seed, and USC beat Clemson 3-1. So you had 4 Pac-12 teams make the match play quarterfinals on the women's side. That was the quarterfinals. The semifinals, they played today.
They're all playing each other.
And
all the Pac-12 teams are playing each other.
UCLA beat Oregon 3-2. Stanford knocked off Southern California 3-1. So it'll be Stanford and USC in the finals tomorrow for the national championship on the women's side. So a Pac-12 team will take the women's national championship this year. Good to see. The Final Four was all Pac-12 women's teams this year with UCLA, Oregon, Stanford, and USC. All right, we will hear from the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals when we come back. His name is Jonathan Gannon, and he's got a change on his offensive line. We'll also get you our Desert Diamond Casino replay. In fact, that's what that's going to be coming up. But first, cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Eastbound I-10 near Ina for a crash and a stay left advisory to get by. Eastbound I-10 near Ina. Freeway backups on eastbound I-10 already approaching and passing Ina. Some slowing westbound I-10 approaching Ruthroff. Collisions, Kinney, south of Gates Pass Road, heavy restrictions there. Dove Mountain, north of Moore Road. Grant, east of Country Club, was reported as a pedestrian struck. 61 the low, 94 sunny tomorrow, triple digits coming next week. 95 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
You are paying too much for gas Because you're paying for gas. Why pay for gas when you could pay for a new Blazer EV at O'Reilly Chevrolet and save $7,500 right off the top? That's just where the savings start. So use your electronic phone and go to O'Reilly.com and see them all in person on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or call 747-8000. Trade up and trade in and put gas in your rearview mirror. See us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Hey guys, what are you... Gotta take this. Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for... Right. You don't say. Now.
Hold it. What's with all the nows? People want to know the best time for an Alaskification. And you're telling them...
Hello? Now.
Well, there's no bad time for Alaskification, but the best time is now. Pretty soon, Arizona temps are going to put a strain on your AC.
Now is really the best time.
You're not telling people about all the money they save? Now. Or how Alaskan AC will make their AC last longer?
Now.
Or the big 1-year guarantee that their AC will not break down? Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Well, Ron wants to tell you a bunch of stuff. I know. That's kind of what I told him. Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, now. The best time for Alaskification is...
now.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com. Now.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Valentine Plumbing reminds all the proud and honorable men and women of our military are still overseas sacrificing their lives for our country. Please don't forget our brave heroes. This message from Valentine Plumbing, top quality and dependable service backed by a name you know and trust. For all your plumbing needs, whether it's service, repairs, commercial, or residential, give the pros a call that do it all at 520-444-9359. That's Valentine Plumbing, on the air, people who care.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-1583. 800-290-1583. Again, that's 800-290-1583. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals opening up OTAs, organized team activities this week, the final phase of the offseason. And some big news as they've made a move on, or at least the front office, Jonathan Gannon, the head coach, has made some moves on his offensive line. In fact, we'll tell you what the move is, and then we'll let you hear from the head coach here. But Arizona, they signed offensive tackle Jonah Williams from the Bengals in free agency, releasing longtime veteran DJ Humphries. Humphries had spent last year left tackle And so on Monday, when Jonathan Gannon spoke to reporters, he said that Paris Johnson is going to flip from right tackle to left tackle to open OTAs, while Williams will start at right tackle, start as in right now, as they begin to try to iron out and see how things look. So a change to the offensive line in front of Kyler Murray. Let's hear from the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, on OTAs.
Phase 3, OTA 1. Excited to get the, I know. How about that, Bob? I know. So am I. I had to temper my emotional state in the team meeting today, make sure, I didn't get too fired up. But excited. It's an exciting time. Excited to see these guys get out on the practice field together, work against each other. There'll be some compete periods in practice. Obviously the rookies being acclimated with the vets, some of the free agents as I was looking around the team meeting, first time they're on the grass versus each other, so that'll be cool. Everybody will have kind of varying levels of participation for all kinds of reasons, but we're going to be smart with guys with the health part of it, and excited to get out there and get going. Who you won't see at all is Derek LeBlanc. He had to have quad surgery and then a week later Achilles surgery. Playing catch with his kids came down wrong, and so he's got to get his leg fixed. And is at the Coaches Accelerator program in Nashville for the next couple days. So that's really cool. Drew Terrell did it last year for us, and get to meet a lot of people and learn some different things. So that'll be good for those guys. So you won't see those two out there.
Everybody else here player-wise?
Yeah, I think so.
Coach, we haven't heard from you. We haven't talked to you about the schedule yet in terms of what do you look for in the schedule when it gets released like that?
From a scheduling standpoint, from the seat I'm in, is, we start putting on the board some rough drafts of, what does training camp look like, week 1, how many, obviously being where we're located, how many 2-day trips we got to take because of the different time changes, where's the bye fall. But honestly, kind of week 1, our guys are going to start working on Buffalo here. They started last week. The first couple games, we got to process how we do that now and then into the summer. But excited about putting it together, and looks good to me.
Is it nice to get that much time to prepare for Josh Allen?
Yeah, you got to prepare for everybody. You know what I mean? So we look at the different coordinators, different quarterbacks, different personnels. Week 1's always a little bit different because there's not a huge, log of games with the people that they have in place. So got to wing it a little bit, but there's a good log on Josh and their offense and the players that they have.
For a trip to Europe, where you breathing a sigh of relief?
Yeah, you kind of. That would have been cool, but I'm excited about the games we got and where they're located right now.
Now that the schedule's out, do you have any more clarity on what you guys are doing in the preseason in terms of?
Yeah, so we get New Orleans at home, and then we're going to go to Indy and practice versus Indy for a couple days. So we'll joint practice with Indy. Obviously, my relationship with Chris Ballard and Shane. I love, Gus, what they do on defense, what they do on offense. Not drastically different. Everyone does the same things for the most part, but it's different offense and different defense for us to go against. And it's a really cool facility. I was there for, the 3 years I was there. Facility's awesome. The fan turnout will be awesome. And then we'll play them, and then we travel week 3 versus Denver.
Coach, with the OTAs, how restrictive are the CBA rules and OTAs, and what can you can't do? How do you manage all that?
Yeah, I kind of manage it I set the expectation of this is how we're going to practice, this is what we can get accomplished, and this is what we can't do. From everything from a contact, rule to time allotted on the field rule, how long they can be in the building for. So you got to just maneuver the day that makes sense for the players for their development and health.
With you guys have made a lot of changes in the receiver room, and a lot of the guys you brought in, including Zay, who's talking with us today, have some size. Is that a conscious decision to add those guys?
Not really. It's kind of, we try to add the best players we can. With Zay, you guys will quickly find out he is fits the price of admission here. His football character, the guy is through the roof, extremely smart. He's obviously played at a high level for a good amount of time here. He's done well acclimating in last week, and he's excited to go.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Yeah, that's a good get for the Cardinals at wide receiver. Zay Jones, who has played on a number of teams in the NFL. And if you don't remember, Zay Jones is the brother of Caleb Jones, who played here at Arizona for the Arizona Wildcats back during the Rich Rodriguez era. Zay Jones spent 4 years at East Carolina and then got drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the, I believe, a second-round pick back in 2017. Played 3 seasons with the Bills. Has bounced around a little bit lately. Played with the Raiders for 3 seasons, Jacksonville for 2 years, and now he'll come over here to the Arizona Cardinals. 3,000 receiving yards in his career, 18 receiving touchdowns in his career, but a very veteran wide receiver to get for this Arizona ball club to put in that rotation. Another weapon for Kyler Murray. So Zay Jones, the brother of Caleb Jones, now an Arizona Cardinal. We had some dramatics, J-Dub, at the Pac-12 baseball tournament.
Oh, yeah?
The Trojans of Southern California scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning and came back to beat Utah by a score of 7-6. So a couple of one-run games to start the Pac-12 Conference baseball tournament. Stanford beating Arizona State by a run, and Southern California beating Utah by a run. Cal and Washington is the next game on tap for 7 o'clock. So
it's either a
off
one-run
to a good
game
start.
or a 10-run game, DK. I mean, that's the state of Pac-12 baseball this year. There was a ton of one-run games this year from all the teams.
Yeah, there really were a lot of close baseball being played, and that's what you want. I mean, we all remember the bang box, the ping era where you had all these crazy 20-run teams scoring 20 runs and all of that, and they brought the bats back in line.
That noise.
Oh God, not at all, not at all. That was not a good era of college baseball. I think that made a lot of people fall out of love with college baseball. But again, it's a lot more interesting now with everything they've put in there. The pitch clocks, though they still do have the shift. I wouldn't mind if they got rid of that, but the games definitely are much more entertaining, much more competitive than what we've seen. And even going back to a few years ago when I talked about that one game where the guy from Oregon threw 80 pitches in 2 innings. I mean, because he just couldn't get the ball over the plate. The pitching seems to be a lot better than it has been in recent years. So that is good to see as well.
Bodes well that they're improving for next year's Pac-12 baseball season, right?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
no, there is no
exactly.
more
There is
Pac-12
no more
baseball after this week.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get all Pac-12 or at least get some teams to the World Series. I don't know how many teams you're going to get in. You're definitely obviously going to have, in terms of the postseason, Oregon State will be in, Arizona will be in. How many more teams you get in after that remains to be seen. If one of these teams comes up and wins the Pac-12 tournament outside of those 2, then I think the prevailing belief is there could be 3 to 4 Pac-12 teams that make it into the tournament. But it's going to be interesting to see how that all fleshes out, and we will know this coming Sunday, Selection Sunday in college baseball, who is going to the tournament, whether or not your Arizona Wildcats will be hosting said NCAA tournament at High Corbett Field. We talked to Garen Caulfield today. As a matter of fact, he ended up going through the senior ceremonies over the weekend. He wasn't sure whether or not he was going to do that, but decided to do it because he just said he wasn't sure if this weekend was going to be the last time he ever played at High Corbett Field. He is a junior, but he's a fifth year, so he still can come back and play for another year. But with the season that Garen Caulfield has had, there's also the very real possibility that he could get drafted, and so he might not necessarily want to come back and play.
It's still 3 years removed from high school, right? So if you redshirt a year, you can leave after your sophomore year. Is that how it still works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he played 2 years at junior college before he even arrived at Arizona. Did not, though. I don't think he played. He was at junior college for 2 years, but did not play either of those years because one of the years obviously was COVID in 2020, and then their 2021 season was entirely canceled apparently out in California because he went to junior college out in California and they had some stricter
They had different
guidelines,
rules out there,
for their junior colleges out there back in 2021, even a year removed. So he really was a true, essentially a freshman by playing status when he arrived here in 2022, even though that was his third year out of high school at that point.
Yeah. I got some great news for the long-suffering Celtics fans. They have a 10-point lead with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Not such great news for T.J. McConnell fans.
No. But
Pacers down.
TJ not playing bad early. I think it was 4 points and 2 assists.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think T.J. McConnell's had a bad game in the playoffs so far. I think he's there every single day.
All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. We'll have much more coming up for you as we get you set for Arizona baseball tomorrow night against Washington. Thanks to J.W. Madden. Thanks to Cricket. That is our time for tonight. My name is David Kelly. We thank you as well for listening. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you on Wednesday, 3 o'clock, DK on the Sports Tip.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Serious collision occurred I-10 near Ina on the eastbound side of I-10 near Ina. Currently, traffic is stopped. Eastbound I-10 traffic stopped near Ina due to a wreck. Your freeway backups eastbound on I-10 approaching Cortero to just as you pass Ina. Also earlier, serious collision occurred Kinney near Gates Pass on Kinney south of Gates Pass Road. And I'm Cricket. And your weather overnight tonight, the low 61, 94 and sunny tomorrow and a 94 now. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you...